cards.
48 hours ago, Brandon High School's football field was a snowball. And that's Davison's athletic director, Dave Beamer, that you see with the help of his friends and volunteer work to get this field suited up and ready for a regional final football game, the MHSAA Division I regional final contest between the Davison Cardinals and the Utica Eisenhower Eagles. Hi, folks. Thanks for tuning in on DTV channel 191 and on our live YouTube stream at DTV_official. Chris Jared with you, my broadcast partner, John Gerke tonight. And John, two very talented teams as the Cardinals try to capture their first regional final since 2008. And they've got a very talented Eisenhower Eagles team in front of them. You look at the track record of the Eagles to get to this spot. A lot of familiar names, teams that they've had to defeat to get to this spot. Last week, a win over Lake Orion, 27-20. The Eagles turned it over 4 times, but they were able to still hang on due to some tough defense and win that ball game. For the Cardinals, it was a really gritty rematch that was high anticipated in the state, a rematch against where the first time that the Lightning of Lapeer and the Cardinals met was in the regular season finale at Cardinal Stadium, a double overtime thriller where the Lightning won 24-21. The rematch fell in the Cardinals' favor, 42-21 final to send Davison to the regional final. John, you look at some of these storylines of this game, the Cardinals' offense, we've talked about it all season. The defense as well kept them in this ball game, and it just limited Lapeer to 21 points last week. What are you excited about to watch tonight for Davison?
I'm excited to see Brendan Sullivan try to get that passing game going for us. We are going against a very tough team. They haven't missed the playoffs since 2013, and they haven't even had a losing record throughout a season since 1984.
Man, and that's all due to the head coach of Chris Smith on top of the Eagles to get his team back to the regional final game as they look to do it against the Cardinals. This is actually a home game. The Cardinals hosting this regional final game, but Cardinal Stadium not suitable to play in, and the B in the middle of the field is in Brandon High School live in Ortonville as we're sub 30 degrees set for kick. Cardinals going from right to left, and the Eagles in their road white uniforms with Eisenhower written across the chest. Cardinals in their gold tops and bottoms and will receive to start this ball game. To be fielded at about the 1 yard line. Little fake reverse for the Cardinals, and there's some room on the left side of the field on the near sideline. Jalen Flowers, the return man for the Cardinals, stays on his feet, broken up at about the 45-yard line. They're going to spot him. John, great starting position for a man that was very active in last week's win against Lapeer.
Yeah, that was a great return by Jalen Flowers right there. He had a huge week last week, had a pick 6 to ice the game against Lapeer. What a great start for the Cardinals so far.
One great starting position to get Brendan Sullivan in this high-powered Cardinal offense going. Talking about Jalen Murray Flowers, he will play offensively as well. As John had mentioned, 1 pick 6. That really iced it against the Lightning. Another interception that started the second half, and that led to a Cardinal touchdown. So certainly made a difference as he batted that pick 6 to Pasco as well. Cardinals starting at the 45. They give it to Smith immediately outside on the edge. Caleb Smith staying on his feet, gets the first down and more. Knocked out of bounds at about the 35-yard line, and the Cardinals, John, moving very quickly off the go.
Yeah, Caleb Smith can do it all. He's a very big rushing back. He can catch the ball, too, and he has 3 kickoff returns on the season going back-to-back-to-back, weeks 2 through 4 on opening kickoffs. He's a multi-dimensional player that's huge for the Cardinals.
Utica Eisenhower blanked Rochester Adams in the first game, week 10, to start the playoffs, 24-0. So this is a talented defense, but the Cardinals continuing to work their way down the field on their opening drive. About 30 seconds have gone by, and a great kick return by Jalen Murray Flowers to get it to the 45-yard line. And then now the Cardinals well in Eagles territory, set up at about the 31-yard line for second down. Sullivan with a receiver far split out to the left. That's Fordham, but again they go to Smith. Shaking a tackle, stays on his feet. Now in the secondary, Caleb Smith gains another first down for Davison. He's spun down just past the 20-yard line.
Yeah, Cardinals are having success on the ground so far. I'd love to see Sullivan pull that back from Caleb in the play action and try to find a wide open Latrell in the end zone.
I feel it is, we should say that we're nice and warm for this week. Last week at Lapeer, I was with Mason Polmantier, and we were on top of the Lightning's press box. It was a chilly one as the Cardinals continue to work their way down the field. John, just pretty simple, going right through the middle of the Eagles' defense, and they continue to work their way down the field. A good chunk there on first down to make it second and manageable.
Yeah, like you said, it's way more comfortable conditions here, a little more heated up, and a little more comfortable for today's
Caleb Smith
game.
going to head off and get a breath, as he certainly deserves one. They've gone to Smith, the senior. As Sullivan keeps it on the left side, lowers his shoulder to try to clear the 20 or the 15 rather, maybe give him a yard. And that's going to force an early third down for the Cardinals. They move down the field and into Eagle territory pretty effortlessly, but now they've got a third down situation.
Cardinals going at it 3rd and short here. The run has been working, so why not run it right up the middle of Caleb Smith again?
3rd down and short. It's 3 yards to gain. Carter Kreiderman in the backfield as Caleb Smith on the sideline to get a breather. Logan Pasco in the backfield as well with Sullivan. They load up the left side of the line as Unger and Pasco now to the right. Watch it heading that direction. Sullivan to give to Kreiderman. Tries to work his way through the middle and rip down past the 15-yard line. Maybe the 14. It's going to be mere inches. John, and I like Jake Weingart's going for this here to rely on his Cardinal offense to get just mere inches for the first down.
Yeah, I agree with the decision. The run game has been working. They got a lucky stop right there. Hopefully you can get the first down right here.
A little bit over 2 minutes have gone by as the Cardinals have worked quickly to threaten the Eagles early in the first quarter. High-powered offense that at most was 44 against Warren Casino in week 2 after falling to Brother Rice 7-0. That surprised a lot of people. I know it's week 1, but you know that Flint Kersley in the first week of their postseason play defeated Brother Rice. 4th down and 1. Cardinals load up the line, and that's Pasco who takes it right through the middle, and I think the Eagles think that they stuffed him at the line. Officials saying that it's going to be a turnover as the Cardinals get stood up on 4th and short. And you see there, John, there was no Brennan Sullivan. It was just right to Pasco, and the Cardinals try to go big on big, and they got stood up.
Yeah, the Cardinals love that Wildcat offensive set on the field. That's how they had a lot of success versus Romeo in scoring in the red zone. Hopefully more success to the future with that.
And so the Cardinals put their defense out on the field now as the Eagles, despite giving up a lot of territory, their defense comes through on 4th and short. Not the greatest starting point, though, at the 13, 1st and 10. Eagles, more of an option offense as the Cardinal fans make some noise here. They've come out, not too far of a drive from Davison, but certainly not Cardinal Stadium. Man in motion and the give up the middle. And the Cardinals there, as it looks, it's to be Harry Unger right on the spot. And John Unger the entire year has been spectacular for the Cardinals.
Yeah, he's been a great pass rusher and a run stopper for the Cardinals defense. I'm looking forward to seeing Logan Pasco right here, potentially his last high school game of his career. He's came in clutch the past 2 playoff games with back-to-back picks, and last week's versus Lapeer was a pick 6.
Yeah. Took it to the house, and with some assists from Jalen Murray Flowers as well, who was able to keep it alive, kind of Chuck Woodson style, and just bat it to Pasco, who took it to the house. 2nd and 7 after the Eagles gain a short on 1st down. They're going to throw here right side on the near sideline. Catch is complete as Aiden Ives on the edge. John, they just kind of brought him in motion and was open in the flat.
Yeah, Eisenhower trying to use that speed to the edge there. Cardinals are a little too quick, and we're able to force him out of bounds.
And so the Eagles move their chains. On 1st down, ran it for 3 yards, and then right there over the middle enough to get the line to gain that was just shy of the 25. And that's where they've got it now, 1st and 10. Cardinals have played every single game of the postseason here on the road. This one kind of feels like a road game despite the Cardinals being the home team. Here's 1st and 10 with 8:38 to play in the first quarter. Man in motion. And quarterback this time right up the middle. The Cardinals are there, maybe a few yards there, John, on 1st down to make 2nd and long. Well, you talk about Logan Pasco, potentially his last game, a really talented senior class, but the Cardinals with a lot to be excited about next year as Brennan Sullivan receiving Mr. Football votes, just a junior, but a heavy load of seniors that the Cardinals have. But you look at guys, Harry Unger back next year, Jalen Murray Flowers back as well.
Very big talented bunch for the Cardinals.
Man in motion is Ives again, and the Eagles looking to throw. They sail it in the air, and it's caught. Jatal with it, and he's got nobody in front of him, and the Eagles on the scoreboard first.
Looked like a total breakdown for the Cardinals secondary right there as they ended up getting pressure on the quarterback, but wide open down the middle. he was able to turn it upfield for the touchdown there for Eisenhower.
Looked like it was just fluttered in the air to Jata, and he was in the area to come down with it. And as you mentioned, no one was there.
Unfortunate for the Cardinals defense right there.
And so the Eagles, with a long strike over the middle, as John mentions, look to be a defensive breakdown that puts the Eagles on the scoreboard first with just under 8 minutes to play in the first quarter. Cardinals couldn't have started this game more in their favor with a great return. Kick is up and splits the uprights. Eagles in front 7-0 early, and the Cardinal offense, John, a really good drive the last time out. Started at their own 45-yard line after an impressive return. And a couple of Caleb Smith runs to move into Eagle territory, but then on 4th and short got stood up and put your defense out on the field, the defense that you've trusted all year.
Yeah, very unfortunate turn of events for the Cardinals not to get points on the board there after such a great start to the game for them. Hopefully we'll see more of a passing offense here. Have Brent Sullivan throw the ball out, try to work the sidelines to his receivers, who are very talented as well. And hopefully the Cardinals can tie it up.
Cardinals more of a second-half team against Lapeer. I mean, they were able to find on their second drive the end zone after the Lightning on their first possession, a couple of big plays, and it tested the Cardinals' adversity in the same situation here in the regional final. Last time that the Cardinals have been in this situation was back in 2008, and that 2008 team that went all the way to Spartan Stadium fell in that heartbreaker that was against Muskegon, 38-35, but they got the regional final win. That was on the road at Midland. 25-19 was the final, after winning the district title against Flushing in three-score fashion, but a tight one against Midland. Over a decade, John, the Cardinals trying to do what they haven't been since 08, and in a really good position tonight, but they find themselves down 7-0 early. And so the Cardinal offense back out on the field, and they will get the football back. It's kind of hard because you've got to find that. I mean, it was a good first drive despite getting stood up on 4th and short, deep in Eagles territory. You did a lot of things right, but it still feels like you're back at square one, and you have to hit the reset button here.
Yeah, hopefully the Cardinals can answer another kickoff return with some yardage here to put them in good field position as it gets muffed by the kick returner.
And it dropped on the turf, and it's returned. And now look at this on the near sideline, still on their feet. Past the 40-yard line, past midfield now. This might be 6. Down to the 25 and edged out of bounds just in front of the 20. A big return for the Cardinals.
What a crazy turn of events there. A fumble, as soon as he caught it, he muffed the kick return, and he somehow turns it into a magnificent return to about the 25 there.
And so for the Cardinals, back-to-back kick returns that set themselves up nicely. Of course, this one far and away better than where they had it on their first at their own 45. But now at the Eagles' 21-yard line, and with a big gust of momentum trying to tie this ball game. 7:35 in the first quarter. And it's Terry on the near sideline, on the far rather. Smith on the outside, stays on his feet. Finally, Eagles defensively get there, just shy of the 15-yard line, but a steady gain on first down. 7:20 and rolling in the first quarter as the Cardinals, their first time out defensively, they give up the opening touchdown. You look at the Lapeer ball game, that's exactly what happened against the Lightning on the road. A couple of big passing plays for the Lightning, and it set themselves up nicely. But, John, against the Lightning, Davison did a great job when the Lapeer Lightning football team driving down the field, threatening in Cardinal territory, but a couple of huge stops inside the red zone defensively. They're going to need that tonight from their defense. Give up the middle again is to Kreiderman. Moves the pile past the 15, and what looked like could have been nothing into positive yards there, it's going to be 3rd and short. This is where the Cardinals, on their previous drive, it was 3rd and short, and then 4th and 1. Failed to convert. Feels like they're right back in the same situation. Right around the same area as well at the 13. That's where the Cardinals were stood up.
Yeah, hopefully the Cardinals don't repeat the same story as their last offensive drives and turn this end zone look, turn this red zone look into points this time.
And so Sullivan with Kreiderman in the backfield, loading up the line. Give up the middle is to Kreiderman. Into the secondary, brought down past the 5-yard line. And the Cardinals knocking on the door of the Eagles to try to tie this ball game up.
just short of the end zone there. Here's where you could look out for that wildcat set where they have Caleb Smith in back to try to punch it in, but here we got Brennan Sullivan.
Kreiderman up the middle and into the end zone for the Cardinal touchdown. This ball game started exactly the same last week against the Lightning. After the Cardinal defense has to get put on the field after their offense on the opening possession couldn't find anything, the Lightning worked right down the field into the end zone to take a 7-0 lead. And then the Cardinal offense after that came right back out, tied the game at 7-7. John, a week later, we're in the same situation.
Yeah, hopefully the Cardinals have the same ending and can advance to the next round of the playoffs, as we're a tied ball game here, and Cardinals with a great answer to Eisenhower's first drive.
On that cue, the winner of this ball game will go to the state semifinal, as the extra point is in the air and it's perfect. Cardinals, after giving up the first touchdown of the ball game to Eisenhower, they march right down the field and they keep it on the ground as well. A couple of big run plays and a great kick return to set themselves up. They cap it and tie this ball game 7-7.
Yeah, Cardinals' main story to their success so far has been their offense, and they've outscored the Eagles 300 to 484 throughout the whole season. And that's just a great play by Brennan Sullivan, throwing 30 touchdowns with 10 interceptions. The offense has been clicking so far in the playoffs, and hopefully that continues for us.
Taking a look at the next week, as we were talking about as the two teams get set to boot this one away. But the winner of this ballgame will go on to take on Sterling Heights Stevenson and Detroit Cass Tech. And both those teams, not the greatest regular seasons as you take a look at their points rankings. But on the other side of the Division I bracket is where you've got some of the more heavyweights. Hudsonville and Brighton in regional final action tonight, as well as West Bloomfield and Belleville. Belleville, the favorites at the Division I level. And really impressive in their first couple of games so far. 49-10 over Saline in the opening round, and then against Woodhaven, 67-14. They've got West Bloomfield tonight, who's coming off of a shutout win against Plymouth last week, 35-0. So really talented level in the Division I level, exactly what you'd expect. Cardinals will boot this one away. And the Eagle offense is going to come back out onto the field after a great first drive. Cardinal defense going to look to see what they can change there, as it's just maybe by inches past the 30-yard line. Eagles will have it 1st and 10. John, the last time out for the Cardinals defensively, it looked like they were really keeping their heads above the water and were in control of things until that 70-plus yard touchdown that was just over the middle. Looked like a little bit of a broken coverage play that left Jataw wide open, a junior.
Yeah, unfortunate turn of events there on the last Eisenhower possession for the Cardinals, as looked like a breakdown in their secondary as they were blitzing the quarterback. Hopefully our defense can force some turnovers like last week and put us ahead in this game.
When will that first turnover come? As we mentioned, 4 for this Eagle offense last year. An option offense, and the ball was on the turf a lot against the Dragons of Lake Orion. Looking to throw again. It's to the man in motion, Nadolski. And a solid chunk, but the Cardinals do fly to the football. Steady chunk there on first down to make it 2nd and about 4.
And if you are coming from the Cardinals live stream on YouTube, don't forget to click that subscribe button and turn on notifications.
Hey, there you go, a little plug.
Yeah, gotta do it.
Appreciating you tuning in on our YouTube live stream as well as on Davison Charter Channel 191. We do understand that the stream is not of the greatest quality, but we are doing everything that we can to try to keep it and get this ball game to you. As the Cardinals on 2nd down and 4, they do keep the ball shy of the line to gain, which is about the 41-yard line. I think the ball is going to be brought down at the 39. So this is going to bring up a 3rd down situation for Utica Eisenhower.
3rd and short here for Utica. Hopefully the Cardinals defense can come up huge and force a 4th down here, get the ball back, and try to take the lead in this ball game.
Jalen Murray Flowers split out wide, stacked up with Nadolski, the senior wide receiver. Let's see if they test Murray Flowers up top. Looked like some Eagles moved early, but no flags, and the Cardinals bring the pressure on 3rd and short, and they force the Eagles to a 4th down situation.
Cardinals in there to make the stop. Harrison Terry, one of the first to lower the boom.
Eagles making some personnel changes as they will boot this one away. First punt that we've got tonight. Cardinals went for it on their opening drive on 4th and 1 at the Eagles 13. They got stood up. It was a really impressive drive. Cardinals, John, on most parts, have looked good on both ends of the football, I think.
Yep, looks like we have Fordham back to return. He's been a very impressive wide receiver so far with 800 yards and 11 touchdowns.
Not a great kick here, as this one's not maybe going to break the 40. Takes a couple of yards away at the last second, but that one was bouncing near midfield. Fortunately, wobbles out of bounds for the Eagles at the 38-yard line. But, John, you look at where the Cardinals have had their starting positions in this ball game. This one's going to be at about the 38. Last drive was down around the 20-yard line, and then the opening kick was taken to about the 45 for the Cardinals. So some really good starting points, and they've matched that with a couple of impressive drives so far. Momentum will be key in this regional final contest as the Cardinals looking to their near sideline for the play call from their head coach Jake Weingarts in his second season. Initial year last year was a tough finish for the Cardinals as they would go on to lose 3 of their last 4. Certainly moving on this year. Smith lowers a shoulder past the 45, and a big chunk there on first down to make it second and short. Lowered his shoulder on Jack Whitwer.
Yeah, Caleb Smith is looking like a man amongst boys out there right now, and what a huge play by Caleb, who's coming up huge in this game so far on the ground.
Caleb Smith, one of the driving forces to this Cardinal offense that has received attention around the state this entire year. Sullivan, second and short, will again keep it with Smith. Patient past midfield and into Eagles territory. John, you notice there, just kept his hands on his blockers, worked his way into the Eagles defense, and then at the last second exploded into the secondary to make it a steady chunk there to get another first down. I think they're going to move the Cardinals back here as the official's talking, and it looks like Davison moving back. Weingart's wanting an explanation. I don't think I saw a flag down.
On the far side of the field, so let's wait and see.
Way past the 46-yard line. And so the officials are talking at midfield. This might wave off a really nice run for Caleb Smith that worked the Cardinals into Eagles territory. But an early start for the Cardinals before the snap. It's going to move Davison back. So the Cardinals will have it. 3:27 left in this first quarter, and we're tied between Eisenhower and Davison. And the officials make the call. They're going to give it to the Cardinals just past the 40-yard line. 3:25 to play in the first quarter. Terry up top, and it's Fordham on the near sideline short. Sullivan in the backfield. He's got 2 with him. He's going to keep it with Smith. With some space, trying to force it outside. Now cuts to the middle and kind of upended there as he's brought down at about the 44. Just a small gain for Caleb Smith. Was looking for space up top, but the Eagles doing a good job of spreading their width there and keeping themselves on top of the football.
Cardinals running the ball more often here.
Yeah.
Wondering when Sullivan's going to drop back and let that thing fly. As he's thrown for almost 200 and 600 yards on 70% this season. What's been the name of their game so far?
Well, they must like the matchup up front for the Cardinals. They've been almost reliant, as John mentions, right on cue, looking to throw downfield, and Fordham was up top, but it hit the turf right around the 25-yard line. That's going to bring up a fourth down for the Cardinals. Kind of in dangerous territory as you're around the 44-yard line in your own end, and Davison going to boot this one away into Eagles territory.
You can't help but think how much the weather conditions may affect throwing the ball today, as your hands could get frozen. And
certainly cold.
Not as comfortable throwing the ball as normal.
Snow has been pushed off of this field, as we mentioned to start our broadcast. About 48 hours ago, this place was a snow bowl. Bleachers and the entire field, it looks like it had been inhabited for months, and it really had. But the Cardinals were able to get themselves in here and clear the snow off the bleachers in the field to get a football game at Brandon High School. A fair catch for Nadolski. He's going to spot it at about the 27-yard line. So the Cardinals' defense going to come back out onto the field as they force the Eagles to punt, but back-to-back punts for both of our teams. Back and forth here, 2:30 to play in quarter number 1. Davison defense that has looked strong in this ball game so far. I think on both ends of the football, that really the drive where a flag kind of deflates your offensive momentum a little bit, kind of set you back, and they were unable to move on after that. Penalties had been an issue for Davison throughout the season, trying to shade down those yardages, especially the penalties, and it just really hurts you in different instances in this ball game.
And right there, it stopped you from, it was at the 45 when it moved Davison back to their own 40. Here's 1st and 10. Pitch on the outside and blown up. That's that man, Logan that's Pizzala as he got in there and blew it up on the pitch. John, we talked about it pregame that's what the Eagles are looking to do on a pitch offense.
What a great way for the Cardinals defense to stop the run early in the backfield, right when he pitched it off to his halfback there, getting met immediately with no room to run.
Pizzala named first team all-conference defensively, and you see why there as he came in and lowered the edge. Blake Rastigue looking to do something with it. Works his way up the middle, but stopped at about the 25-yard line. Logan Pasco coming off of the top.
Yeah, Logan Pasco has been an anchor for this defense this year, reaching triple digits in tackles at 101. He's got 72 solos and 4 interceptions to go with that. He's committed. He's a Youngstown State commit who's a great player. He's going to have success at the next level as well.
A unanimous first-team all-conference pick as well defensively. Older brother Brandon was the Davison varsity quarterback. Boy, that was about 5 years ago, senior season for Brandon. Here's 3rd and very long. Whistle's coming up top. It's going to stop the play, and the Eagles want to talk some things over on 3rd and 13 with 1:13 to play. And the Cardinals here defensively want to make sure they're on the same page, take advantage of the Eisenhower timeout on 3rd and long. Really, John, you look at what the Eagles have done in this ball game, a really good 4th and short stop in their own territory, and that set up an offensive drive that was capped by a 70-plus yard touchdown pass over the middle that was hauled in by Jata. Really no one around him, kind of a defensive mishap for the Cardinals. And the Eagles were on the scoreboard first. Cardinals came right back and tied this football game at 7s, and that's where we are now with $1:13 left in quarter number 1. But these two teams here pretty split in the first quarter.
Yeah, it's been a great game so far. Hopefully the Cardinals can get a stop and get their offense back on the field here.
Both teams went 7-2 in the regular season, and some impressive games for Utica Eisenhower as they took on Chip Valley. That was in week 3. Fell in that one 34-19, but through most of the season, Chippewa Valley, some of the favorites at the D1 level, of course, coming off as champs last year. Here's 3rd and 13. Cardinal defense kind of changing their personnel at the last second. Eagles looking to throw, but in trouble. Dumped over the middle and caught at the 35, but short. Catch is complete at the 35-yard line as Rastigue was having that pocket collapse quickly. Dumped it in the air to Ethan Barker, who hauled in the catch, just a sophomore, but it's not at the line to gain of about the 38-yard line. And the second straight drive that ends in a punt for the Eagles.
Cardinals defense have been huge so far, besides for that one mishap that you did say where the coverage broke down and he just had a wide open 70-plus yard pass catch.
It's been a strong response since then, and the Cardinals seeing if their offense can break this tie as we're down to 30 seconds. The clock has melted in this first quarter. Not that much pressure. This is a much better kick, and it's going to be spotted by Fordham at about the 35-yard line where the Cardinals will have it. 1st and 10. Just 22 seconds left to play in the first quarter. We're tied 7-7. John, at the 35-yard line, believe it or not, this is the deepest that the Cardinals have been in their own territory in this ball game.
Yeah, the Cardinals have been given great field position every time their offense has been set on the field. Hopefully this time they can take advantage and take the lead for the first time in the game. Hopefully the Cardinals can get their passing offense going as well, as that was huge to their last week against Lapeer, where Sullivan threw for nearly just shy of 200 yards and a touchdown, getting his receivers involved.
Harrison Terry really came alive for the Cardinals, had the opening touchdown catch in the 3rd quarter, and was a big reliance for the Cardinal offense. Sullivan looking to throw on the play fake, runs out of time, goes down at the 30-yard line for a big sack, the first of the night for this Eagles defense. Sullivan on the little play fake, looked to throw it quickly outside, but was met quickly in the pocket as it collapsed on both ends. And this will take us to the quarter break. 7-7, we're locked up in this regional final contest between the Cardinals of Davison and the Eagles of Utica Eisenhower. Johnny, look back at this first quarter, recapping things a bit. The Cardinals did receive the opening kick, took it deep in Eagles territory. They got stood up on 4th and 1 at the Eagles 13. Really deep drive, but they had to send their defense out on the field and a 70-plus yard touchdown throw. This Cardinal team was tested quick. I think a strong response since then.
Yeah, the Cardinals have been lights out ever since that mishap, playing great defense, getting some solid drives together, but hopefully this one they can punch it in for 6 here and take the lead against Utica.
They're going to have it at the 30 after Sullivan goes down in the pocket. The first time tonight that this Eagles defense has gotten to him. Aside from that, and John, you mentioned it, that this Cardinal offense has heavily more been reliant on the run as opposed to the throw. Right there, Davison looking to go in the air, and Sullivan had to pay for it in the pocket. So maybe that might send things back on the run side as Davison looking at 2nd and 15 to start the second quarter. Fresh 12 minutes thrown up on the clock. Under 30 degrees here tonight, as it's been unbelievable temperatures here in the beginning of the month of November, well underneath the average for the state of Michigan. And we're playing football tonight. Gave up the middle on 2nd and very long as Kreiderman able to work past the initial line of scrimmage. And he's brought down at about the 36, 37-yard line. Steady chunk there that was chipped off of the total. This is going to be 3rd and a long 9, but manageable for this Cardinal offense.
Yeah, Kreiderman looked like he was going to get swallowed up in the backfield there, but kept the legs turning and turned it up for a positive yardage gain.
So the Cards making some personnel changes as Unger coming into the backfield. It looks to be Fordham, Terry, and Pizzala stacked up here on the near sideline. Sullivan in the backfield as the Cards load up their line here on 3rd and 9. Looking to sail it in the air, throws it short, it's caught. 40-yard line, and it's Unger loose, stays on his feet, lowers his shoulder past the 45-yard line, and the fridge himself, Harrison Unger, blows the Cardinals past midfield and into Eagles territory.
That's a big boy with a full head of steam who had the Adrian Peterson-like truck there. And what a great play for the Cardinals offense, getting the short pass working, what's Brent Sullivan's favorite game to go to, as the Cardinals are driving upfield, hopefully looking to take the lead here.
Unger just lined up on the far side of the line and just dragged across the middle of the field as the 3 on the near sideline took the Eagles deep, and Unger was wide open for the Yak. Give up the middle on 1st and 10. It's Kreiderman with some speed. Stays on his feet past the 35-yard line. You love to see that as Kreiderman is going to be just shy of the first down. Kept his feet going the entire time, even when it looked like that run would be snuffed out. And you want to talk about impressive guys coming back. Carter Kreiderman, just a junior.
Yeah, Carter Kreiderman showing high intensity in this game as well as the Cardinals.
Here's 2nd down and 1 yard to gain as we're a minute 20 gone by in the second quarter. The backfield that you see right now is what you will see in the 2020 season as the give to Kreiderman again to get 1 yard. Boy, did he get that? He's down shy. Looked like he might have had it, but was trying to go for more. Weingart's wanted the forward progress, and they're not going to give it to him. Well, it's a junior there as now Caleb Smith going to come in for Kreiderman, who will jog off. John, it looked like the junior had the first down if he would have just lowered his shoulder and gotten it. Was trying to bounce it to the outside, though, and the Cards going to pay for it here. They got 3rd and short.
Yeah, Eisenhower's a speedy defense. Was able to get to the edge there and tackle Kreiderman before he was able to get the first down.
Cardinal personnel changing their look here as Unger now lining up on the right side of the line. He's going to give it to Smith, running off the edge, diving forward, and he just got that. But, John, the Eagles up front in a short yardage situation have looked impressive tonight.
Yeah, they've been able to stop the Cardinals' run. It's been a very physical game on the line of scrimmage so far. Both teams going at it, as only one is going to walk out of this alive and into the next round in the playoffs.
What team will be alive in Division I postseason play? Which team will continue their season on to next week to the state semifinal matchup at Spartan Stadium? 2 split out to each side for Sullivan. He's going to give it up the middle to Smith. Got a lot of room, works past the 25. He was 1 break away from the end zone and is tripped up at the 20-yard line.
Yeah, Caleb just getting tripped up there, almost broke it into the end zone to give the Cardinals their first lead of the ball game. You love to see the success on the run so far for Caleb Smith.
Back-to-back first down gains for the Cardinals. Under 10 minutes to play in the first half. 9:15 up on the clock. Eagles defensively on the spot as Caleb Smith is blown up quickly. You look at the pancake on the near edge of Lucas Edgar. That was pretty impressive. Got to give the O-lineman some love when you can. Pizzala will come into the ball game with Flowers. Pasco and Unger coming out, so you see, John, the Cardinals adding some speed to their receiving core here. It's going to be Fordham up top, and he's got Flowers and Pizzala there, stacked up 3. Harrison Terry on the near side, one-on-one matchup. Sullivan with a passing formation, little play fake, in the air, and it's caught by Pizzala. 2nd and 9, or rather 12, but is able to get past the initial line of scrimmage and into the red zone now for the Cardinals, but a 3rd and long coming up.
Yeah, Sullivan loves to get those short pass looks and spreading the field out sideline to sideline to get positive yardage gains slowly.
Looks to be Luke Devereaux, the big 59 senior defensive end for the Eagles that Sullivan had to worry about. He leapt in the air with his hands spread trying to break up that pass, but it was just complete to Pizzala, able to get a big chunk, now making it 3rd and 6. Sullivan rolling out to the near sideline, looking for the end zone. Thrown and caught by Terry into the end zone for a Cardinal touchdown.
Cardinals able to answer there, taking the first lead of the game, 13-7. Harrison Terry leaving off right where he left off last week against Lapeer, where he caught seven catches for 137 yards and a touchdown. What a great play by the Cardinals offense.
Sullivan slung it in the air, took a shot towards the end zone, and Terry was in a nice amount of space, caught it at about the 1, and turned and was able to fight his way into the end zone as the Cardinals in front for the first time tonight. Under 8 minutes to play, 7:55 frozen on the clock in the first half, and this Cardinal offense starting to heat up on a chilly November night. Kick is up and way in, and that brings the Cardinal fans on their feet in Ortonville, Michigan. Cardinals break this 7-7 tie and went back-to-back touchdowns in the first quarter, and we've been there ever since. But now under 8 minutes, Davison in front by a score, and they send their defense that was red hot on their last possession back out onto the field.
Yeah, Cardinals offense finding some success there, taking a 1-touchdown lead in the second quarter, and our defense has been pretty much lights out besides that one play we keep talking about where they let up the 70-yard pass.
The Cardinals carried Jake Weingarts off of the field last week with a district title trophy in his hands, the first one since 2010. And that was just such an impressive, or 2008 rather, such an impressive moment for the Cardinals after the first year for Weingarts couldn't have started better. They took an undefeated slate against Warren De La Salle, one of the most anticipated matchups of the entire year across the MHSAA. Fell in that one, a 35-7 final after having the opening score as Ray Cole had the pick six, or the fumble, scoop, and score deep in Cardinal territory to put Davison on the scoreboard first, but a disappointing loss. Rebounded well with a 63-6 road win at Saginaw Arthur Hill, but back-to-back losses to end last season. 28-6 against Weingarts' alma mater and hometown of Lapeer, and then in the first round of the playoffs to Oxford 38-13. Not the case in 2019, as it's fair caught at the 20-yard line. Eagles will have it 1st and 10. John, more on our point of starting positions for both of these teams tonight. Eisenhower, their opening drive, despite them scoring, they started at like it was back at the 13-yard line. And you notice where Davison has had their starting positions. It's been incredible tonight. Might be making a difference now as we see on the scoreboard. And so the Eagles offense back out onto the field. Really didn't take too many shots in the last drive, and even on this ball game since the 70-yard strike over the middle. This is an Eagles offense that would like to pitch the football in the backfield. Cardinal fans on their feet. Man in motion is Ives. Play fake, thrown to the far sideline, and a big tackle by Pizzala.
Great open field tackle there by Pizzala, bringing him down before the line of scrimmage, making it a loss of about 1 there. Or actually a gain of 1, my bad. It's going to be 2nd and 9 for them with about 7:30 left.
That's going to fire up Peyton Pizzala and the Cardinal fans. Just a junior, as we mentioned, all conference this year. A lot of Davison names on both ends of the football, first team all SVL. Eagles looking to their far sideline for the play call as Eisenhower fans were on their feet after taking the first touchdown to the house. Haven't done much since. 2nd and 9. Looking near sideline. Rassiou going to keep it himself, and he stood up shy of the 25. They might give it to him. Not too much of a gain, maybe a few yards there on 2nd and long. And it's going to be 3rd down and about 6 yards to go.
Yeah, the Cardinals defense swarming to the ball there. As you were saying, we're waiting for that first turnover of the game for the Eisenhower Eagles, as they had 4 last week, and forcing a third down and a possible pass play here. Cardinals are very active going to the ball through the air.
Here's 3rd and 6. Eagles looking to go in the air, some pressure. It's Pasco thrown and tipped and dropped. Eagles had the first down as Ives had it right in his chest, and he dropped it out of bounds. Just a sophomore, John, couldn't haul it in, and the punt team for Eisenhower are going to come out onto the field.
Defense stepping up huge here in the last couple of possessions, not allowing anything from Eisenhower's offense. Got Latrell Fordham back here deep to return.
I tell you what, this is a dangerous position for the Eagles to be in. A lot of football game left, that can go without saying. But this Davison Cardinal offense has been moving the football well in this first half, and with 6:31 to play.
Yeah, you kept emphasizing the field position for the Cardinals, and it looks like they're going to get some great field position after this kick right here.
Fordham in the air. He will take a late fair catch. He's going to spot it at the 40. As deep down the field, looking to try to get there was Nick Passarelli, the junior defensive back for Eisenhower. The Cardinals, again, John, great starting position at their own 40-yard line to have it 1st and 10. Plenty of time here in the second quarter to work this clock and drive down the field.
Yeah, hopefully we can see some of the passing offense of Brendan Sullivan here, spreading out the sidelines with quick throws, and hopefully going up two possessions here versus Utica in the halftime.
Cardinals put up 35 points in the first round, 42 against Lapeer. And this is an offense that averages about 5 scores a night. Looking to see if they can add on to that total here with 2 scores already. First play is given up the middle. It looks to be Kreiderman, spun around and dropped past the 40. Maybe give him a few yards there, John. 2nd down and long coming up. Cardinals have kept the football on the ground despite their second score coming in the air. Harrison Terry with the touchdown catch to put the Cardinals in front 14-7 on the previous drive. Had the touchdown to start the second half last week against Lapeer, and that was after the Jalen Murray Flowers interception. A lot of personnel changes for the Cardinals before the snap. As Sullivan's got it, gives it again to Kreiderman, strong side, works his way into the secondary, might have gotten the line of gain, and the officials with a great spot to give Kreiderman the fresh set. He breaks midfield, 1st and 10 Cardinals in Eagles territory.
Kreiderman and Smith controlling the run game here for the Cardinals. It's a little duo in the backfield. They've been getting positive gain after positive gain and setting up the offense for huge plays.
Cardinals keep it on the ground, and they continue to work this clock. Kreiderman off the edge, stays on his feet, still loose, and it takes a lot of Eagles to bring down the junior, and a big chunk on 1st down to make it 2nd and manageable. A lot of 1st downs gained by this Cardinal offense here early in the first quarter. As you see Kreiderman say, I don't need that hand warmer. It's just slowing me down. This backfield will return despite Logan Pasco stacked up in front of Sullivan. As you've got Junior Sullivan giving it to Junior Kreiderman. Almost tripped up, past the 40. Spun around, stays on his feet, flags fly. And let's see what we've got here on the call. They both land at about the 35-yard line.
Eisenhower not doing the best job of wrapping up as the Cardinal backs are shredding tackles left and right to get a couple more.
Boy, that's really
yards.
tough. So Carter Kreiderman, a great run that's going to be negated on a flag, and it'll move the Cardinals back. They're going to reduce. It was 2nd and 4 initially before the snap.
Yeah, what a costly penalty there by the Cards, setting them back a little deeper than they'd like. As Kreiderman had a great run there that's going to get negated back.
This looks like a spot foul, and really it's just, I mean, they're going to redo 2nd down and maybe only lost 2 yards there, as it was 2nd and 4, now 2nd and 6. So really, it's almost just replaying the down. But it does take away from a great run from your junior, as now Caleb Smith in the backfield with Sullivan and Pasco. 2nd and 6 with under 5 minutes to play in the first half. Give is to Smith, works his way near sideline, past the 40, and he's got the Cardinal 1st down. So you can take away the flag that had stood up the Cardinals there and just really replay 2nd down. The Cardinals say, okay, we'll do it again.
Yeah, Caleb Smith, the South Dakota commit, who's going to be playing up north
next
next season. Way west. next season for his college career. He's been a great player for the Cardinals on both ends, making huge plays left and right.
Caleb Smith, a guy that just you couldn't keep him out of the weight room in the offseason, and it pays off out on the gridiron, and it's certainly going to pay off where it shows where he's playing football next year. 4:25 to play again to Smith. Near sideline. Again, another flag flies as Smith is brought down at the 30-yard line. Let's see what this one's going to be. You might have another holding call. This soared in from the back judge, and this is going to move the Cardinals back again. That's really tough.
These penalties are costing the Cardinals on this drive. Hopefully it doesn't continue for them. Sloppy penalties like that will let Utica get right back into the game.
This is the third flag on this drive to fly. And so the Cardinals, so far they haven't allowed the flags to stop this drive, but this one going to move Davison back, another spot foul. And so, again, they mark it right at the line of scrimmage almost. So this is going to be 2nd and 11, redo first down. Fortunately, the last two penalties have barely moved the Cardinals. The give again to Smith. Works his way near sideline, lowers his shoulder, might have broken the 35, and they will give him a few inches past that line. Not as much on first down. Make it 2nd down and maybe 8 coming up. 7 yards. 3:50 to play in the first half, and the Cardinals in front by a score, trying to make it more as they continue to melt this clock. They've kept the ball on the ground, but John, be wary of a strike here for Davison. They might go in the air really at any point. They've got the weapons to do that.
Yeah, you got Harrison Terry
on the
and
line
Latrell
there.
Fordham on the left side.
The give is to Kreiderman, that's Smith rather, works his way past the 30. And Davison is going to be really close to the line to gain, which is at the maybe 27, 28-yard line, right around there. Chains haven't budged. This is going to be a 3rd and very short. Eagles have been strong up front in short yardage situations. Let's see what they show here. The give is to Smith, working off the edge. He's got the first down and more. Stays on his feet past the 20. 10, 5, knocked out of bounds deep in Eagles territory, and the Cardinals knocking on the door again.
As you were saying, Caleb hitting the weight room. It's looking like it's paying off, breaking tackle after tackle. Utica doesn't seem to be able to wrap up Caleb Smith at this moment.
Cardinals looking to move quick here as they want to keep the Eagles back on their heels. Clock stops as Smith was edged out of bounds. It's frozen at 2:59. 5 yards to gain. The give is to Kreiderman. Stopped shy of the goal line by a few yards, but a solid chunk on 1st and 5. And so this is going to be a 2nd down and again a short yardage situation. Clock continues to work. Down to 2:40 here in the 2nd quarter. As if you're wondering why this game has gone by so fast, it's because we've seen really just almost all running by both teams. Cardinals working this play clock here as they want to continue to melt the clock, but only need 3 yards to find the end zone for the 3rd time in this first half. 2nd and goal from the 3. The give is to Kreiderman. Stays on his feet, and a flock of Eagles get to the line. Maybe inches, but almost nothing there on 2nd down. John, the Cardinals might have to open up this formation here and get something going on the outside edges. It's not working up the middle.
Yeah, Utica's controlling the line of scrimmage here and on the goal line stance, and hopefully Sullivan can try to get something going for the Cardinals, make it a 2-possession game here. He's got 2 receivers out wide.
Kreiderman in the backfield with Sullivan. He's already got 1 touchdown. They give it to him again. Across, was he in? Looked like he was very close, and the officials with no signal yet. Cardinal fans wanting a touchdown. Boy, it looked like Kreiderman was right there. They're not going to give it to the Cardinals. This will be 4th and goal from the 1.
Kreiderman just a centimeter short there, has the ref saying.
Cardinals take it. No, it's the Eagles rather to take their, I think, 2nd time out of this first half. They want to talk things over. 4th and 1 as Kreiderman's give there looked really good, but at the last second might have been turned away from the goal line.
Utica
this
not
really is a
giving
game
up
of inches.
Utica not giving up easily, letting the game go from a 2-possession game and a half. Only 1:30 here. It's going to be a huge possession for the Cardinals and for Utica, obviously.
Well, Davison trying to prevent another deep stop that the Eagles, you remember back in the first quarter, it was at the 13-yard line on 4th and 1, and they were able to get the penetration and stop the Cardinals short of the line to gain. And they turned it over at the 13-yard line. The ensuing possession, they drove down the field and got on the scoreboard first. In the same situation, but now on the other end of that 1 yard is the end zone. Clock is stopped at 1:28. The Cardinals in front by a score, trying to make it 2, and would be huge because Eisenhower starts the second half with the football. Won the coin toss and deferred their option to the second half, so the Cardinals sent their offense out onto the field to start this ball game. 4th and 1.
Just a centimeter to punch it in here for the
Wonder
Cardinals.
if the Cardinals might load up the line, as Sullivan, rarely have we seen him over center. They try to go up the middle. Sullivan moving the pile into the end zone for a Cardinal touchdown. Cardinals go big on big, and Sullivan able to find the end zone for the first time tonight. And the Cardinals now in front by 2 scores with 1:25 to play in the second quarter. You were wondering if the Cardinals would do that, John. Earlier in 4th and 1, Sullivan stayed in the shotgun and took the snap in the backfield right there, lined up over top, and you could even see him kind of moving before the snap, took it, and the pile was able to edge the yard that the Cardinals needed into the end zone.
Yeah, Cardinals controlling the line of scrimmage there, able to get in the end zone by a big push by Logan Pasco, the big middle linebacker and defensive anchor for the Cardinals.
Cards split the upright on the points after the touchdown, and Davison in front 21-7, trying to claim their first regional title since 2008. In front 21-7, and a great start here in half number 1. John, this is an important 1:25 here on the clock. When you saw Eisenhower find the end zone, it was on that one play, and the Cardinals, all it took was one slip up to give the Eagles their first touchdown in this game. Your defense has had a lot of momentum here in this ball game since then, but you've got to stay sharp and close out this first half.
It just spiked really high.
Cardinals set to boot this one away.
I mean, yeah.
Huddled up here before they boot this away. And this Eagles offense really hasn't done much since then after they've scored on their first drive in this ball game. And accredit a lot of that to the Cardinal offense, or the Cardinal defense rather. Clock is stopped at 1:25 here in the second quarter before halftime, and the Cards with the recent 1-yard touchdown rush by Brendan Sullivan, his first of the night, and it puts the Cards in front by 2 scores. Little short kick that's going to work its way to the 20, and the Eagles with a return here. Sefcovic works his way up the hash marks, and he's going to be stopped at about the 45-yard line. This one of the better starting points for this Eagles offense in this first half, and they've got it right around midfield with 1:17 to play before halftime.
Yeah, hopefully the defense can keep doing what they've been doing. Besides that little mishap that unfortunately cost them a touchdown, the Cardinals' defense is nothing to complain about right now, being almost perfect.
And so this defense, can they do it one last time? We've seen no turnovers in this ball game yet. Eagles offense that had 4 last week. A Cardinal defense that forced 3 against the Lightning. And we see a timeout as I believe the Cards want to talk some things over here before 1st and 10. 1:17 after the return is up on the clock. And the Eagles trailing by 2 scores. The Cardinal defense trying to get to the locker room in front by 2 touchdowns. Really, it's nothing different. I mean, you continue to bring the pressure up the middle. Haven't seen too many shots taken by the Eagles. Again, that 70-yard touchdown pass was caught maybe 10 yards past the line of scrimmage, maybe less than that. So it wasn't really a deep shot down the field. It was just Mario Gital left wide open to haul it in, and then there was no one there. He put the speed to work.
Very
was able to find the end zone.
turn of events.
Yeah. Well, and that was early on in the ball game, right after the Cardinals were stood up on 4th and 1. You look at what's happened since then. Really impressive stuff as the Cardinals now with 21 in this ball game. First and 10 for the Eagles at their own 45-yard line with 1:17 to play before halftime. Cardinals bringing the pressure. Rastigue looks to get rid of it, steps up, throws downfield, and it's caught. Nadolski dropped past the 30-yard line, and the Eagles trying the Cardinals in the secondary on the first play, and they deliver a strike to work their way deep in the territory. Clock will stop at 1:10.
What a throw there by Roscoe, hitting his man in stride in the middle of the field there.
Well, and the
Getting
pressure
Utica's
coming from the outside and was able to step up in the pocket, too. That was really impressive. Ball's at the 33 as the clock starts when the chains get set. Rastigue again with the pressure, keeps it himself, and is knocked over at the 25 as Unger came in there with the hammer and dropped Rastigue. Again, was able to step up in the pocket, but, John, this clock is running. The Eagles...
Yeah, hard hit there
Yeah.
by Unger. Maybe making Roscoe double think, keeping it next time.
Second down and 8 with 35 seconds to play before halftime. Rastigue play fake, looks to throw, outside, dropped!
Another huge hit.
Jay Davison comes in and drops down the quarterback, Rastigue, and the Eagles will burn their final timeout. 30 seconds on the clock, and the Cardinals with a big stop to force 3rd and long.
What a huge play by the Cardinals defense, getting a ginormous sack there by senior Jay Davison, coming off the edge with speed, being able to light up Blake Rostigue after having that huge pass play, putting them in scoring position potentially.
And so the Eisenhower timeout stops the clock at 30. And now as the Eagles, after one play, they worked it deep into Cardinal territory, now in a position where with the clock stopped in 3rd and very long, the last thing that they want to do is turn it back over to the Cardinal offense, or even worse, make a mistake. Throw the ball in the air. John, you remember last week the Cardinals with 2 pick-sixes, and one of them was a route jumped by Jalen Murray Flowers, almost 70 yards returned to the house. And so this is right around that neighborhood. 3rd and 15 as the Eagles back out from their huddle. They use their final timeout. Eisenhower, you don't have to get the first down here. You could take a chunk and get to the line for a 4th down situation and try to run something. Cardinal fans on their feet on 3rd and very long, and Davison jumping up front. Eisenhower doing exactly what they were intending to do. Cardinals jumping up front, and that's going to give an easy free penalty to the Eagles. Again, John, flags have been killing the Cardinals here in this first half, despite being in front by 2 scores. You clean up a couple things, and you're in a much better spot in this ball game.
Yeah, for sure. This game wouldn't even be close if it wasn't for the penalties. And hopefully it doesn't continue to hurt the Cardinals in the future of this ball game.
Here's 3rd and 10. Struck in the air, a deep shot, but overthrown trying Nadolski, as Rastigue was able to connect to Nadolski to get it to the 30-yard line. That's where the ball is at now, though. It's going to make it 4th and 10 with 24 seconds left up on the clock. And decision time for the Eagles now.
Yeah, just an overthrow there by Blake Rostigue and Nadolski wide open the end zone. Unfortunate for Utica, who missed to cut the deficit until 1 possession here before half.
For the Cardinals here, what you're trying to do is really you just don't give up any big plays over top, as you see 3 kind of heading deep for Davison. 4th and 10, the Eagles can get the first down and step out of bounds. There's plenty of time with 24 seconds on the clock. Rastigue on 4th and long takes the snap. Looks left side, sails it, caught. And it's forced out of bounds. Clock will stop inside the red zone. And the Eagles do gain the first down. It's very tight, though, where they spot it. Thought that it was enough, but now are the officials spotting the football. It's really tight, and they might have to measure this one. Well, they finally, they gave some yards there after the catch, and now the officials, I believe, want to stop the clock and measure this one. The chains on the far end did start to move, but now I think they're going to spot this ball and see where it's at. Cardinal fans have not been pleased in this first half with some of the calls that they've gotten. It's been a lot of flags on this Davison offense, mainly with the holding penalty. They get an offsides. That was obviously self-inflicted.
Yeah, Utica's starting to pick apart the Cardinals' defense here and during the passing game. We're going to see as the officials start to measure here, getting close.
This is a big call here because this could keep the Eagles' drive alive, where if a score comes, they do start the second half with the football. And the Cardinals with the stop The spot is going to give Davison the football back with 19 seconds to play. I
Wow.
thought that was a clean-cut first down after the throw. It was 4th and 10, and just a simple 10-yard curl route was caught, obviously more than 10 yards.
Yeah.
But the spot was really tough that the officials come away with. At first, the chains on the far end did start to move, but then they got called back. The officials respotted the football on the near sideline, and the second spot is going to give the Cardinals the football back. 19 seconds left, John. They might just kill this clock out.
Yeah, what a great stop by the Cardinals there. Making
Huge.
it a 2-possession game and a half. Looking great for the Cardinals going into halftime right now.
So Sullivan will line up. They might just run this clock out. Nope, Sullivan will take the snap and take a knee. And we are going to head to the locker room. Cardinals in front, 21-7 after an impressive first half of play. And we have halftime from Brandon High School in Ortonville, Michigan. John, some thoughts here before we stop before halftime.
Cardinals are very dominant on the defensive end.
Yeah.
They're getting their offense to work also on the run game. Not as much passing as I'd like to see. That's been the key for the whole season for the Cardinals. But the run game is working, so
worked.
why not stick with it?
That's right. It's a really good point now as for some reason officials talking with Sullivan and Pasco, but we're going to go ahead and stop. It looks like maybe just both team captains. But we stop here from halftime from Brandon High School in Ortonville, Michigan. Cardinals in front at the break, 21-7.
For some reason, I thought Empire was on the other side of Traverse City. You know where Sutton's Bay is at? Oh, I got it. Sutton's Bay is north of Traverse City. Okay. And I thought that's where Empire was. Empire's right there by the... Oh, okay. So that's... Well, it's south of Traverse City. Yeah. Empire is south of Traverse City. I got a grandson up in Traverse City. I'm going to take a walk. Okay. Well, hey. Don't forget where you came from.
This thing was stuck to the seat.
Oh, wow.
I'm gonna let it. Maybe it'll dry out a little bit. I want to put it on my leg, but I was stuck to the aluminum. It's still good and strong. Oh, okay.
Boy, boy.
All right.
But he lives up here in Davison.
Right.
We're standing all over the place. We're like horse shit.
I got it. You guys want anything?
Hey, we want more touchdowns.
2 more touchdowns?
3 more.
3 more. Okay, I'll see what I
I
can do.
told him 42.
I'll go talk to the boys.
You probably will, huh? He'll give you one of his. Yeah. That's how I met. Like say I know he wants my phone number and shit. And then he texts me, he says, you going to the girls, because I told him I go to girls soccer games and stuff. And so does he. And I seen him at a couple of the soccer games and shit. Next thing I know, he's calling me up. Hey, you want to see a soccer game? I said, hey, I only go to certain games this game. He goes to everything. Oh, yeah. He goes to everything. He's got grandkids that are birthdays and shit. He goes to see birthdays. I said, how many times did he go see birthdays? I said, they ain't rich as shit. I said, they still ain't worth a shit. He went to see a place. He went to see Berkeley's place playing football. I said, it wasn't a very good game. He said, no, we point out. Yeah. Finally scored for 6 games. Coached for 30 years. They finally got rid of him. He won it 1 year. He won it in 96 or 97. He won it. That was at the Silverdome. Punched the girl. He was drunk in front of the girl. A woman. Schroeder was his security. Schroeder. Hey, it was a kangaroo court. I told Ed, I said, I'd have fired that motherfucker. Troy was fired. Don't tell me that fucker wasn't lit up instantly after 1:30 in the morning at Burger King at 16 Mile in Rochester, New York. 1:30 in the morning. 1:30 in the morning. Tell me the fucker wasn't drinking. I worked at Troy Schools from 90. I don't want to lie to you. From 2000 to 2009, I worked for 9 years. He was a gym teacher, and he would do 3 hours at one school and then 3 hours at another school. I think he got married, but yeah. I heard that from another Well, you know who I ran across when I was doing the custodian there? Remember Bob Anderly? He's a fucking teacher over at Troy High School. Yeah. He went to college and became a lawyer. He said he wasn't doing so hot, making too much money as a lawyer, so he became a teacher. Probably making 60 grand, 60 grand. Hey, if you're a lawyer and you're not taking too many cases and stuff, you ain't making shit. Bob Anderson.
Back at Brandon High School as we're just set to start the second half. Chris Jarrett, John Gerke rejoining you on DTV, on our YouTube live stream, as well as on Davison Charter Channel 191 on the first day of firearms season in the state of Michigan. A Friday, November 15th, 2019, and a chilly one at that. Cardinals technically the host team, but we play this one at Brandon High School as Cardinal Stadium, currently a snowball, and the natural grass field was not suitable to host a football game. In the regional final, Cards underway in the second half, in front 21-7, and a knuckleballer that kind of goes out of bounds on the near sideline. Didn't look like the greatest kick off the foot. And so an early penalty to this third quarter. John, a big issue in the first half for the Cardinals were the freebie penalties that they gave up. Got to try to clean it up here in the second half, and not the greatest way to start this third quarter. But really, you look at the way that the Cardinals played on both ends of the football regarding the penalties. No turnovers by either team, but the Davison defense setting the tempo. The offense on the other end catching some momentum there in the second quarter to take a 2-score lead.
Yeah, the defenses came up so very huge in the beginning of this game, and with the Cardinals only allowing one score off of what was a crazy play where passer got rushed and he kind of just lofted it up there to a wide open receiver who ran it down for about 70 yards. But other than that, the Cardinals have been very, very great on defense.
Cardinals stand true to the hard count. They don't flinch up front. And the Eagles on 1st and 10, the opening play from scrimmage in the third quarter. Cardinals with the pressure. Unger can't get to the pocket. Sailed deep. Flag flies, and it's dropped incomplete in the secondary as Ives had a step downfield and would have walked in for 6. A flag does fly at the 42-yard line.
Rostigu put it right in the breadbasket there for his receiver, who had a wide-open touchdown that he dropped there, second of the day.
We'll see. So there's 2 penalties. There's one at the 33, and there's one at about the 48-yard line. So these might be 2 different penalties. If they're both on the Cardinals, this would be really tough because now you're in your own territory. If these offset, that's huge. But we're waiting for the calls from the officials there as you've got one at about midfield and the other one right around 33. And a big break for the Cardinals as Ives just dropped it right through the arms. Holding on the Cardinals, that one's declined. Roughing the passer on Davison as well. John, 1 play of scrimmage in this third quarter and 3 Davison penalties. Not the way that you want to start this ball game.
Very unfortunate for the defense here, as the penalties are looking like it could affect them, but they haven't so far. The penalties haven't caused the Cardinals any trouble here.
Well, they continue to be detrimental as just on 1 play of scrimmage, 3 penalties. And so the refs now moving the football to midfield.
Ian West dropping the wide-open touchdown pass right there. Right before half, we saw Rostigu overthrow a wide-open receiver in the end zone. Some costly mistakes by Utica's offense to get some points on the board. Let's see if the Cardinals can get a stop here.
1st and 10 at the 50 for the Eagles, and the Cardinal fans on their feet. Again, Davison jumps at the line of scrimmage. And the Cardinals just continue to hand free yards as Gabe Smith is going to get whistled for this one. He was trying to lobby that he was not cross the 50, but I think, John, initially he did jump over the line and broke the neutral zone.
Cardinals defense getting a little too anxious here to put pressure on Rostigu, forcing him to make quick decisions, and it's costing the Cardinals huge in penalty after penalty to start the second half.
Just 1 play for the Eagles offensively, 4 separate Cardinal penalties. Here's 1st and 5 at the Davison 45. Rostigu looking to throw. In trouble, and down he's going to go at the 45. Davison flocked to the senior quarterback, and down he goes in the backfield. Harrison Unger flying off the pile as Nivison got in there as well to blow things up.
Rostigu's taken a couple hits this game from the Davison Cardinals defense, who've been pretty successful at rushing the passer so far this game.
You could see Rostigu in the pocket just essentially full as he anticipated the Cardinal pressure almost immediately looking to throw far side. And Davison brought the heat. It got to the pocket for a big sack to make it 2nd down and very long.
Great tackle there by swarmy yellow jerseys.
Looking to throw, pressure again. It's away, caught. Past the 40, and the Eagles have the 1st down as it looked to be Barker. And it was Barker who was able to haul in the catch. It was a big 2nd and 15 yards to go, and the Eagles are able to connect for about 16 yards, just enough for the 1st down. Couple of big plays back and forth to start this third quarter. Ball is now back in Cardinal territory at the 39-yard line. Already a minute gone by in this third quarter. Cards in front 21-7 with 10:50 to play. Eagles looking to the far sideline for their play call as the Cardinal fans have come out in full force tonight. Davison in their gold uniforms, Utica Eisenhower, the Eagles in their road white tops and bottoms. 1st and 10 as Rostigue looking to throw. Unloads over top, and it's going to be incomplete. Jalen Murray Flowers there in the coverage, and it was well overthrown to make it 2nd and 10.
Nadolski trying to get a pass interference call there as he was throwing his hands up, looking for a penalty in the secondary there as he was forced away from the ball.
Well, and just a sophomore is Jalen Murray Flowers, but we looked at last week where he had 2 interceptions, one of them a pick six, one of them, if there's a stat for it, assisted in a pick six. Really impressive stuff by just a sophomore this season, and the Eagles trying to target that matchup on the near sideline. Cardinals showing pressure, and they send it on 2nd and 10, thrown high, incomplete. And a little contact after the play, but just finishing the job was Pizzala, and that's going to make it 3rd and 10. John, the Cardinals flying around there, getting to Rastigue quickly, and you see there maybe affecting that throw a little high to make it 3rd and long.
Yeah, Cardinals are putting pressure on Rostigue, forcing him to make quick throws to his receivers that sometimes work and sometimes he gets hit for a loss on the play. And that's the chance they're willing to take here, looking to put it into one possession here for Utica.
Crowd on their feet for 3rd and 10. The Eagles had 2nd and 15 earlier on this drive. They erased it with a 16-yard strike, but here's 3rd and 10. Man in motion, Rastigue looking to throw, gets away with it, caught. Got the first down as Jata was able to haul it in, and Nivison in the backfield could not come down. He got to Rastigue, but could not complete the tackle. And a big conversion for Eisenhower to make it 1st and 10 at the Cardinal 25.
What a great throw by Rostigue there, rolling out to his left, throwing across his body towards the sideline, somehow completing the pass for the first down. Great look by Rostigue there, looking comfortable.
He does look comfortable with pressure. This is obviously coming from the MAC, a really tough athletic conference at the high school level. 1st and 10 at the Davison 25. Pressure again, Rastigue throws over the middle, and it's going to fall harmlessly to the turf. Again, John, we're seeing the Eagles just trying the Cardinals defensively in the secondary, looking long downfield. As really in the first half, whatever it was that they were doing, a lot of option looks for the Eagles. It was not working. The Cardinals were wise to the act, really, it looked like, blowing things up as the Eagles were trying to get it outside. But now it looked like they've changed things completely offensively, looking to go much more in the air. 2nd and 10, Rastigue again looking to throw. Unger gets there, and it's an incompletion. And a late flag flies way from the back line judge as the intended receiver was Ethan Barker, the sophomore.
Penalty after penalty here for the Cardinals defense. What an unfortunate turn of events that it just keeps seeing like penalties are keeping the drive alive for Utica, unfortunately.
Blaze Glennie on the sideline is animated for the Cardinals as it's going to be a holding call against Davison. That's really tough. Again, John, Rastigue looking to throw, and it was Unger with the pressure. They continue to make the senior quarterback sweat, but it really doesn't look like he's bothered too much by the pressure. Completing the throw right before he's hit, and that's a tough thing to do when you've got a guy like Unger breathing down your neck.
Yeah, very confident, stepping up in the pocket there and completing passes into tight windows, forcing the Cardinals to be challenged in the secondary here.
So a brutal holding call is going to give the Eagles more free yards here on this opening drive, as just with one play completed on this initial drive, Davison had 4 flags, all different penalties, and that's been the story here to start the third quarter. Rastigue on 1st and 10, lobs it to the corner, into the end zone, and it falls incomplete as Caleb Smith was there in coverage. Really not a lot of room to work with. And the Eagles again with a strike. It falls incomplete on 1st down. Ball is at the Davison 15-yard line with a little over 10 minutes to play in the third quarter. The Eagles have completely thrown out the playbook of what they were going with in the first half. A lot of times you try to stay true to your plan, what you've been working all week. But in the regional final game, when you trail 21-7 at the half, it's really a big sense of urgency. It takes a lot of guts, too, to try to go with a different look. But the Eagles are moving down the field. 2nd and 10. They try to keep it on the ground, nothing up the middle, and that's going to make it a 3rd and very long. We passed the 10-minute marker in the 3rd quarter. Davison actually came away with the football, but it looked like that play was well over, as there's really you can't make any type of confident call when there's a pile and a guy runs out of it after the play was blown dead as well. They don't give the Eagles a yard there on 2nd down. No, they do. They just change it. It's 3rd and 9. Cardinals trying to stand up defensively and get a deep stop. This drive has been driven mainly on Cardinal penalties, and the Cardinal defense trying to answer for that and make up for that here. Rastigue looking over the middle into the end zone, and it falls incomplete. And that's going to make it a 4th and 9 at the Davison 14-yard line. Decision time for Utica Eisenhower, as in this instance, what are you going to do here on 4th and 9, as a holding penalty is going to move the Eagles back, and that's going to draw a jubilant response from the Cardinals sideline.
That's a very different change of pace here. The Cardinals finally getting a penalty to go in their favor instead of against them.
Right. So let's see what the Cardinals do if they want the 4th down decision, which would be the smarter call. But the Eagles now, if it is a 4th down situation, do you keep your offense out in the field and take an end zone shot when you trail by 2 scores? There's certainly plenty of time left.
I would say you have to go for it. Try to take an end zone shot, make it a 1-possession game if I'm Utica, because the Cardinals' defense is playing phenomenal so far.
Weingarts is signaling to move the football back. And they are going to accept this penalty. It's a 10-yarder, and it's going to move the Eagles all the way back to the 30-yard line. The line to gain is about the 5-yard line. So a penalty turns around the Eagles, and this is going to make it 3rd and 25 as the yards up on the scoreboard to gain. Earlier on this drive, John, it was 2nd down and 15, and on one play, the Eagles were able to connect for 16 yards. They've been taking shots. They get another chance here on 3rd down, but it's 25 yards to go instead of 9 now. Cardinal fans on their feet. Rastigue looking to throw. Unger on the outside edge. Can't get there. The senior sails it in the air, and it's going to be incomplete. Latrell Fordham was in the area, and coverage was able to be enough to force an incompletion. So the decision works up for Jake Weingarts, as this is a 4th and 25. And the Eagles, you might even consider maybe just a high pooch kick to tuck the Cardinals deep in their own end.
Yeah, what great defense by the Cardinals secondary there, forcing Rastigue to try to throw to a receiver across the field, and he just overthrew them by a couple inches there as Cardinals close out quick on those passes to the outside.
Davison has had spectacular starting positions in the first half, looking to try to see where they'll start in the second half as the Eagles keep their offense out on the field. Now we do see sometimes where the quarterbacks will just take the snap, maybe try a dry count and get the defense to jump, and then just take it and pooch it away. Cardinals with their secondary wide open, they'll send 3 up front, and it's a soft 3. Eagles looking to throw, they take a shot deep into the air, and it's dropped incomplete. Rastigue delivered a great throw to Nadolski, who was there. John, he had it in his hands, and it was tipped off the fingertips, incomplete.
Little Hail Mary look there by Utica. Almost was fortunate enough to come up with that. I don't understand how there wasn't more Cardinals in the secondary there to try to stop the deep pass into the end zone. What a crazy turn of events there for the Cardinals. Fortunate enough to get the ball back.
That feels just devastating to the Eagles there on 4th and 25. Rastigue had some time. Unger on the outside couldn't get there, and the senior sailed it in the air deep to the end zone. And he actually had Steven Nadolski, fellow senior, with a little bit of space, as you mentioned, surprisingly enough, despite how many Cardinals were back there. The Eagles found a soft spot in the end zone, and it was tipped off the hands of the senior wide receiver, who's been legit this year for Eisenhower. 1st and 10, the Cardinals start at the 30. Here's the give, and it looks to be Carter Kreiderman, the junior. Did he lose the football? I thought that he was down. Kreiderman thought that he was as well. And let's see what the officials come away with here. Officials don't make any signal as where it's at. The one on the top just says 2nd down. And so either the Cardinals came on top of the football or Kreiderman was down before the ball came loose. But a scary end of the play there, as we haven't seen any turnovers yet by either team, and the Cardinals flirting with the first one of the ball game there.
Yeah, a costly turnover could potentially flip this game around for Utica and get them right back into the game. Cardinals, thank God, avoided that one.
Here's 2nd and 7 with over 8 minutes rather to play in the third quarter. Kreiderman finds nowhere, actually goes backward, and again lost the football. Officials say that it's down, but Carter Kreiderman on 2 carries has had the ball jarred free. But the officials much more confident that time, saying that the junior was down, and this is going to be 3rd and long upcoming for Davison. An offense in the first half that, especially towards the end of the second quarter, looked like they were moving confidently down the field. And a lot of it was due in large part to Kreiderman, but not the 2 greatest carries back-to-back on their first drive of the second half. And it gives Davison an early 3rd and long situation, 3rd and 8 at their own 32.
Yeah, with 2 close fumble calls there, I wonder if Davison might want to run with Caleb Smith a little more to end this game.
Sullivan on 3rd and long in the backfield. Looks to throw to the near sideline with pressure stepping up. Unloads downfield. He's got Terry. Caught for the completion. Forced out of bounds just shy of the 20-yard line. And a big play as there's a flag back at the 26-yard line.
What a huge play by Harrison Terry there. Getting the reception as he had a 100-plus yard game last week against Lapeer.
Holding call is going to bring this one all the way back.
And the tale of the story so far, penalties just keep killing the Cardinals here and pushing them back.
Ball is marked at the 32-yard line as Terry was able to work his way down to the 20. And that would have been just shy of a 50-yard completion, but negated and brought all the way back. John, you remember in the Lapeer game, in Week 9, the first matchup between the two, there was a drive where the Cardinals had 2 scores. One of them was a 70-plus yard touchdown haul-in by Fordham. That was brought all the way back by a holding penalty. And then a Caleb Smith touchdown scamper. That was also brought back on a hold call. Cardinals lost in double overtime. That drive would have been the difference in that ball game. And so penalties, at this point, the Cards in front by 2 scores, but you cannot continue to make them small mistakes. Here's 3rd and 23. Sullivan stepping up, looking for space, now just going to keep it himself and cross the 20-yard line.
Smart play by Sullivan there, trying not to risk a pass to be intercepted. Might as well play it safe and get your defense back on the field to try to get another stop for the Cardinals.
So Sullivan got about 5 yards there, as it's going to be shy of the 24. And 4th and 16 coming up will bring the Cardinal punt unit out on the field. A drive that looked incredibly promising after Sullivan on 3rd and long was able to connect to Terry for about 48 yards. But a holding call brought it all the way back, made it 3rd and very long, and here we are on 4th and 16. 7:09 left in the third quarter. And the Cardinals deep in their own end, in need of a good punt here to flip the field. Return man is Nadolski, and he's going to wave the hand, spotted at the 45-yard line where the Eagles will start 1st and 10.
Yeah, Cardinals with a bunch of sloppy penalties here to start the second half. And a big reason why Utica is still in this game, only trailing by 2 touchdowns, as we're ticking down to 7 minutes here in the third quarter.
You think about where these two teams have started their drives in this second half. The kick to get us back going out of halftime in the third quarter sailed out of bounds for the Cardinals, so the Eagles started at the 35-yard line. Well, they were able to take it all the way down and finished up right around the 20-yard line where the Cardinals had it, 1st and 10. Well, now Utica Eisenhower again in favorable position, this time at the 45-yard line. Hitting the reset button as the Cardinal defense back out onto the field. Rastigue looks to throw. Quick out route, and it's caught. Ives with it, and he's got some space. Works on the far sideline. Loses the football, and it's recovered by the Eagles as Ives at the last second had it poked free. And fortunately for Eisenhower, they were able to stay in possession and keep on that football. Boy, that popped free at the last second, John.
That would have been a heartbreaker for Utica there if they would have turned the ball over after that huge play getting into the Cardinals' territory. But great throw by Rastigue there in the pocket to find his receiver going across field for the big gain and almost a fumble.
Boy, what changed from the first half to now as we've seen the football be popped out as Kreiderman on the Cardinals' first drive, although he was ruled down on both of them, lost the football, and then right there at the end of the play, Ives lost it. 1st and 10 at the Cardinal 28-yard line, and down goes the senior quarterback as Jay Davison explodes out of the pile with a sack.
Jay Davison has had a couple huge tackles here in the second half. I think that's a second sack so far. He's coming off the edge, very hot there, the senior, who's been huge for this defense going into this game.
Wrestling season will start soon for Davison, and showing the takedown capabilities right there as he brings Rastigue down for the big sack. Here's 2nd and 16 with over 6 minutes to play in the third quarter as we are right at the 6-minute mark on 2nd and long. Eagles looking to the far sideline. They've got 3 receivers stacked up to the left of the senior quarterback. He will throw to that side. Little screen set up as it's caught by Jata. Shakes free and knocked at the 25-yard line and absolutely blown up by the junior Harrison Unger.
Harry Unger has been a complete bulldozer so far this game. Big hit after big hit, and he just knows how to deliver that blow for the Cardinals defense when they need it.
A big play on 2nd down for Eisenhower sets up a 3rd and short. Yards to go are 4 at the Cardinal 22. This is where we played a majority of the third quarter, is in Cardinal territory. No points so far for the Eagles. 5:15 to play in quarter number 3 as Rastigue looks to throw left side, and it's caught. Stepping out of bounds is Aiden Ives. John, we're seeing a pattern where it's just a little over the middle, a little bit of a drag route where Ives just shakes free. You see outside the receivers going deep, and that just opens everything up over the middle, and the Cardinals have to adjust to that because it's almost every time routinely an easy 7+ yards for the Eagles.
Yeah, Utica finding a lot of success in the short pass game here to start the second half, and hopefully the Cardinals can make some more adjustments on defense and maybe drop a little more in and stop the short routes from being complete for first downs.
There's 5 minutes to play in the third quarter, and the Cardinals, they continue to have their backs pushed back in their own territory. It's 1st and 10 for Utica Eisenhower as they mark it at the 13-yard line. But again, just looking over the middle and short little routes set up for the sophomore Aiden Ives, the speed as well, and he's able to just chip away at the fielding position. And we take a look back at the first half, John, where the Eagles had a lot of opportunities in Cardinal territory to find the end zone. And the Davison defense, despite penalties, despite big plays, were able to stiffen up a little bit and keep the Eagles off of the scoreboard in large part. The first drive for Utica Eisenhower here in the second half looked just the same. They were able to work their way down the field with the help of some Cardinal penalties. And then the Davison defense was able to stand up and make a stop. Would be huge if they could do it on back-to-back possessions, but your defense is out on the field far too much. You've got to get the offense back out and get back control in the pace of this game. And that's what was working in the second quarter. Cardinals were possessing the football, running it down, really working the edges of the Eagles defensively and just finding space outside. 1st and 10 at the 13 for the Cardinals. The senior looks to throw. He's got time, sails it into the end zone, but incomplete. A lot of the throws for the quarterback have been overthrows, and that's fortunate enough. You'd rather have that than underthrown, as that one bounces into the snowbanks, and Latrell Fordham had to kind of high step that into a good 2 feet of snow where it's been bulldozed off into the end zone. I've been waiting for someone who finds the end zone to just run through the back of the end zone and take a big dive into the snow. I wonder if we'll see that before the end of the night, but I think that'd be pretty cool. 5 minutes, 4 seconds left in the third quarter, and the Cards still in front 21-7. It's been our holding halftime score. But Utica Eisenhower certainly threatening in Cardinal territory on their first drive, came away empty-handed, now doing the same. No points scored in the second half so far. Rastigue looking to throw. Hot feet, steps out of the pocket, sails it into the air, 50-50 ball, batted away, incomplete. Latrell Fordham with coverage, and he poked it free, and that's going to force a 3rd and 10.
The Davison secondaries definitely had a lot of close calls this game to Utica receivers, almost catching the ball in the end zone with a couple drops in the end zone and a couple overthrows. Utica could be right in this ball game if it wasn't for a few mistakes, and they're looking to answer to make it a one-possession game.
You know, Bobby Hatton's got to like the athleticism by Fordham with basketball season knocking on the door. His baby was able to go up and knock it away. Now it forces a 3rd and 10 at the Cardinal 13. The Davison defense looking for one more stop. Rastige with options to his right, looking left side, a little screen pass tipped in the air and falls incomplete. Unger again with the pressure, and he poked it free as a promising screenplay was being set up as a flag flies. Let's see what we've got here. That was well after the play.
Players letting the emotions get the best of them in this playoff game.
Gabe Smith is signaling that it will be against the Eagles, but let's see what the respected officials come away with here.
A little bit of push and shove there by both teams.
Getting the call right now. And it will be against Utica Eisenhower. That draws a response from the Cardinal fans as some tempers by the Eagles on 3rd and 10, just by the fingertips of the junior defensive end, Harry Unger. Poked it free and broke up the play. Certainly can be frustrating as it looked like the Cardinals were threatening there.
Harry Unger has had a monster game so far, making big hits, being active on the ball everywhere where he is, and even he's a great blocker on the other end of the ball as well.
So this happened after the play, in between the whistles. So instead of 4th and 10, and the Eagles only looking to get it to the 3-yard line, now it's 4th and 25 at the 28. Eagles again with a detrimental penalty in between 3rd and 4th down. They had it on the last drive too, John, if you remember that, and that blew them out of range of territory to make any type of scoring play happen. They're in the same spot here, almost at the 30-yard line. 4th and long as the senior looks to throw. Sails it into the air, and it's going to be intercepted. Caleb Smith pulls in the interception, and now on a foot race, gets a block down the sideline. Stays on his feet. 15, 10, 5, touchdown. A 99-yard pick six, and Caleb Smith with the exclamation point into the snowbank to put the Cardinals up by 3 scores.
And Chris, you've been saying this whole game, it's just a matter of time before this Eisenhower offense turns the ball over. Huge ball vision there and a ball hawk by Caleb Smith, who picks the ball off and shows his track speed, outrunning every single Eisenhower player there for the easy pick six.
At one point of the season, Smith had back-to-back-to-back opening kick returns to start a ball game. He hits the interception at the 1-yard line right there and says, I'm no stranger to this situation. It was really like a kick return at the 1. Had some blockers and a convoy in front of him and was able to stay on his feet down the sideline. The kick is darn near blocked, but it's up and in. And the Cardinals with the exclamation in this ball game so far, they're in front now 28-7 with 4:32 to play in quarter number 3. Wow.
The Cardinals defense seems like they have a huge part in a pick or some type of game-changing turnover in their first 2 playoff games, with that pick six by Logan in the Romeo game and then the pick six by Jalen Flowers in the Lapeer game. And then as you just saw, Caleb coming in huge with a nice play on the ball, returning it back at 99, 100 yards to make it a 3-possession game for the Cardinals here.
Cardinals with 3 defensive scores in their last 2 ball games. And after a drive that the Eagles again threatening with their defense out on the field, Rastige sailed it into the end zone. It did not have enough. You were a little bit weary as Smith was in front of the receiver, and if that was able to get over his head, that's a touchdown, but merely underthrown, and the senior was able to come down with it, stay on his feet, follow his Cardinal blockers down the near sideline, and find the end zone for the first, not only turnover in this ball game, the first defensive score as well.
Yeah, great play by the defense. This would literally be a shutout for the Cardinals defense if it wasn't for that crazy play in the first quarter there, where the defense secondary had a breakdown and let Utica run free for a 70-yard touchdown.
Cardinals trying to claim their first regional title since 2008. And with 4:32 to play in quarter number 3, they find themselves in front. 28-7 our score. As whistles at the 40, this is going to be against the Cardinals. Despite what the score is, you cannot continue to make these types of mistakes this deep in your season.
I find it so crazy the amount of penalties the Cardinals have had against them, and on the scoreboard, it doesn't look like it's affected them at all today, Chris.
You're going to find yourself in a ball game, even if you're in front 28-7, likely going to be a situation where you find yourself in a ball game where the penalties will hurt you as you continue to move on in postseason play. At the regional final stage right now, again, we set the stage for the weeks to come. The Cardinals will take, or the winner of this ball game will take on the winner of the Sterling Heights-Stevenson contest and the Detroit-Cass Tech contest. And that one had a halftime score of 7-3, a really low-scoring affair in that ball game. Kick is pretty deep, muffed at about the 20. And we see a return here by the Eagles. Ball is going to be dropped at about the 32-yard line. Steady return by Daniel Solkowski. They call him Ski, the sophomore, but 31 able to take it down past the 30-yard line, where the Eagles will set themselves up 1st and 10.
The Cardinals this year looked like they could have had a similar ending compared to last year, going 7-3 last year and then 7-2 going into the Lapeer game this year. Going to the Lapeer game this year. And as you see, Weingarts is able to put together a pretty impressive playoff run for this Detroit Cardinals team and the Davison community in general.
For the Cardinals here, you have to continue to keep the foot on the gas. You find yourselves in front by 3 scores, but a lot of ball game left to be played. 4:25 in the third quarter. Rastigue looking to go deep. Pizzala in the area. Bodies colliding at the 40-yard line. A little skirmish in between Jalen Murray-Flowers and Steven Nadolski. That's a sophomore and a senior going at each other.
Clock stops with 4:20 to go.
4:20 on the clock in the third quarter. And the Cardinals in front 28-7. 2nd and 10 as Rastigue unloads and takes a shot.
Just over 4 minutes here in the third quarter for the Cards.
Rastigue looking to throw deep again. It's going to be caught. Stays on his feet as Ives past the 50 and tackled by Pasco shy of the 40-yard line.
Good open field tackle there by Pasco to avoid the ginormous gain there by Utica, keeping the Cardinals within decent field position for this Utica offense.
The Eagles now understanding they find themselves down by 3 touchdowns with 4 minutes in the third roughly. You've seen almost nothing but an air attack by this Eisenhower offense, and that's likely what you're going to continue to see. Rastigue did throw an interception last week, but 3 of the 4 turnovers were on the turf in the option offense.
Yeah, Rastigue has had some pretty impressive patience in the pocket, stepping up and making impressive throws here.
Plenty of time, unloads, and it falls incomplete as a flag flies on the near sideline. Again, it's Flowers and Nadolski. The sophomore and the senior continue to clash one-on-one as they were just blocking each other well away from the play, and it erupted into the sideline. Flag was just kind of tossed by the near official. This could be offsetting on the 2. I don't think you can call it on one or the other as both bodies just kind of spun. Oh, they call it a holding. Wow. And that's really tough for the Eagles because it's so far away from the play, and they're going to get Nadolski with the holding call against Flowers. That's really tough because on a 2nd and 10 now it's going to be even further. So let's see what we've got after the officials mark the football. And you see, John, a lot of the Eagles are confused because it was so away from the play. They're thinking, how could that have been holding? Almost no one, I mean, there's 10 guys around the rest of the play, but one-on-one with Jalen Murray-Flowers and Steven Nadolski here on the near sideline. And I did think it'd be a 50-50 penalty offsetting on the 2 because they've been going back and forth. So let's see how the tempers flare between the 2 and the matchup on the near sideline.
Yeah, you called it out the play before. Both players letting the emotions get the best of them here in this close game.
Well, Jalen Murray-Flowers, a cool-tempered sophomore, but obviously leaving nothing at stake on the field. Rastigue looking to throw. In trouble. Loose football on the ground. Picked up by the Cardinals. Harrison Unger with the exclamation point and the 2nd turnover by the Eagles here in the third quarter.
And our defense is erupting right now with Harry Unger with the huge fumble recovery for the Cardinals. He's been all over the place this game, making huge hit with the fumble recovery, tipping passes at the line of scrimmage. What a great game by the Cardinal defense and a huge factor into why the Cardinals are dominating so far.
If you don't know the name of Harry Unger and you're a college recruiting scout in the state of Michigan, you better wise up. Harrison Unger is one of the better, more impressive pass rushers at the Division I level, and is, with the size he's got so fast on the outside edge, was able to get to Rastigue, who was loading up for the strike, got the arm in there to poke it free. And back-to-back turnovers by the Eagles sets the Cardinals up nicely at the 45-yard line, 1st and 10. Sullivan with the keeper working to the near sideline. Loose football on the ground, and it's still loose. I think the Eagles got it. Unbelievable, as Sullivan pounding the turf with his fist. Behind had it poked free, and the Eagles come away with the football. Back-to-back turnovers, and Utica Eisenhower, after a detrimental second turnover, they finally get it back. Boy, you got to squeeze onto that football. As you saw, it was just poked free from behind. And the first Cardinal turnover in this ball game.
What a crazy turn of events here in this game, taken down to the fourth quarter almost with 3 minutes to go in the third. I mean, Sullivan has had success on the run game so far this season. He's rushed for about 8 touchdowns so far, and unfortunately there to be poked up from behind by the Utica defender.
And so this is Blake Rastigue, the senior quarterback, and his Eagles offense that feels like you just gave over a disastrous back-to-back penalty, the fumble, and now you get really a chance to get right back onto the field, but even further now on your own 27, 1st and 10. With pressure, dumps it in the air. It might have been tipped, and it's caught by Ives, but blown up behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, with just over 3 minutes to go here in the third, you got to hope Utica, their only chance of getting into this game is a big momentum play like we saw on their first touchdown. They're just going to have something go miraculous for them.
Well, and hoping that fumble can start something. But the Cardinal defense, their last 2 times out on the field, they've come away with an interception that was returned 99 yards for a touchdown by Caleb Smith, the senior. And then on the recent time out on the field, Harry Unger got to Rastigue, was loaded back to throw the football, but poked it free in the throwing motion. And Unger able to hop on top of it. Not only force the sack, but come away with it as well. 2nd and 9, play fake. Rastigue looking to throw. Pump fakes, dumps it in the air, a little lob throw. And it was caught, but was it in bounds? No, the ball came out at the last second. But a heck of an effort by, I believe, Jita on the top end. It was floated up by Rastigue. Just a 50-50 go, and I think even if he comes down with it, would have been out of bounds, John. Landed in the Eagles' sideline.
Great effort by the Cardinals secondary there, trying to tighten up those windows on the sidelines and rush into the ball that's thrown. What a great defensive stand by the Cardinals so far, and 3rd and 9 with just about 2 minutes and 20 seconds to go in the third.
Cards in front by 3 scores. The last touchdown, the only touchdown in the second half, was a 99-yard pick six by Caleb Smith. Bull rushing his pass go, thrown away, poked free by Fordham. 4th and 9 upcoming.
Yeah, a lot of these huge players for the Cardinals play both sides of the ball. Fordham, who's known as a dominant wide receiver in the SVO Red Conference, just broke up a huge pass, forcing 4th down for Utica here.
Nice sharp route up top on the curl. But Fordham was right there as the ball was coming in, right as the intended receiver was turning. Got the hand in there cleanly as well. Poked it free. Exactly what you're supposed to do on a 3rd and long situation. Just live another day to 4th down. Exactly what the senior does. Fordham has been fairly silent in this ball game. Kick is away, and Fordham will fair catch it. Spotted at the 41-yard line. And the Cardinals will have it 1st and 10. One play for Davison last time out, and Brendan Sullivan on a keeper had it poked free.
Great field position here for the Cardinals offense, as their defense has been so dominant this game. Their offense has had great starts to their offensive drives, starting deep in the Utica territory most of the time.
Chris Jarrett, John Gerke on our DTV YouTube online stream, as well as Davison's Charter Channel 191. We want to thank you for tuning in wherever you are watching Cardinal football here tonight on this Friday, November 15th, 2019. Just a few moments away from the top of the 9 o'clock hour. We got underway at 7 o'clock with the kick in Ortonville, Michigan at Brandon High School. Cardinals, the host team, could not host with Cardinal Stadium being covered in snow and the natural grass surface just could not fit a regional final ball game on. Sullivan will give it this time, and I believe that it's the junior Kreiderman. Carries the pile past the 45-yard line, just shy of midfield, but an impressive run by the junior to continue to pump the feet. Second down coming up.
Yeah, overall, the Cardinals have shown way more heart this game, and they're just controlling the line of scrimmage in general and pushing for those extra yards.
I think on your to-do list on this drive, under 2 minutes on the clock, melt this clock down and get it to the fourth quarter. You're in front 28-7, and the Cardinals in the first half mainly kept it on the ground. No reason not to continue to do the same here in the third quarter, late in the third quarter as well. Sullivan with options split out. He'll go up top to Kreiderman. Just gets past midfield by a yard. He's going to be short of the line to gain. But another chunk on second down to make it 3rd and about 2 coming up. What the Eagles have done well in this ball game is they've been really impressive, tightening the belt in short yardage situations, really wherever it's been out on the field. I wouldn't be surprised if the Cardinals, instead of just trying to go right up the middle, maybe try something outside, but they're loading up here in the backfield. Sullivan tries to dry count. Looks to the Cardinal sideline here. Pizzala and Terry up top. They'll keep it on the ground. Kreiderman's got it with space. Tackled at about the 40-yard line, and the Cardinals with a conversion there on 3rd and 2. 37 seconds left in quarter number 3, just a few moments away from the final frame from Brandon High School.
Yeah, Cardinals finding a lot of success in the second half on the ground so far, getting great handoffs for big gains as time is ticking down to begin the fourth quarter.
So a fresh set of downs now in Eagles territory, marked at the 40-yard line, and the clock is down to 15. I think the Cardinals trying to come off the field, but Jake Weingart's weary. But this will take us to the quarter break. Throw up the 4s as the Cardinals in front by 3 touchdowns, and the final frame coming just your way in a few moments from Brandon High School. The Cardinals take it to the fourth quarter in front 28-7, looking to claim their first regional title since 2008. A drive that has now gotten you into Eagle territory at the 40-yard line, and would be incredible if you can continue to keep the ball on the ground, melt the clock, and find the end zone. A Cardinal offense so high-powered in the season that John and I had talked about and set the stage for the first 3 weeks of the season, all eclipsing 50 points or more. A week 1 win over Fenton, 54-27 against Bay City Western, 69-13. And then over Flint Carmen Ainsworth, 56-0. This was really the similar start that we had seen, the exact same start that we had seen that Jake Weingart's had in the year prior, his first year at the helm of the Cardinals program. 2018, the Cardinals were on an absolute tear of 6-0 before their heavily anticipated matchup against the Pilots of Warren de La Salle, and it was a 35-7, kind of a disappointing loss for the Cardinals at home. Both programs first time meeting one another, and it was at Cardinal Stadium, and the Cardinals lost that one by 4 scores. Able to bounce back in 2018 in Week 8 against Arthur Hill with a 63-6 win, but then against Lapeer to end the regular season, 28-6 final. Big gain, Kreiderman stays on his feet, still loose, past the 30-yard line, finally forced down by the Eagles secondary, past the 30-yard line, give him another first down.
And the Cardinals playing against real competition here. Utica's no joke as they were district champs in 2017, and they made the Final Four in 2016. And they haven't even had a losing record since 1984. This is a very successful football program the Cardinals are going against, and playing one of their best games of the season so far, in my opinion, Chris.
Now, I think that as the season has continued to mature, and we've left the regular season behind us and found ourselves in postseason play, Davison with an incredible halftime response in Week 10 against Romeo. Things really looked just dark in the first half of play. Cardinals made an incredible defensive adjustment. Loose football as Kreiderman had it loose and was able to keep the ball in his hands as he was heading down. But another fresh set of downs as Kreiderman was able to work his way past the line to gain, which I believe was the 19. and they will signal for the first down. But, John, more on the 2018 season, it was a really, you're looking at going into Week 9 against Lapeer on the road. You were looking at an 8-1 slate, but then falling to the Lightning 28-6 in Weingart's return to Lapeer. Kind of disappointing, but a really talented team that you had, led by Cannon Hall at the time into Week 10. You fall to Oxford 38-13, and a really strong start to the year that was kind of a disappointing finish. The exact same start here in 2019, but a different result in postseason. Kreiderman is up the middle, and it is, I believe, 17. That is Caleb Smith with the carry. And it's going to be second down and about 7 coming up. Cardinals do continue to work their way down the field. John, looking to 2019, again 6-0 against De La Salle, fell at Wayne State 22-0, bounced back against Arthur Hill, and then lost to Lapeer. Felt like the exact same result of the regular season last year, but going into the playoffs, a decisive 2-score win over Romeo, and then over Lapeer, the 42-21 win to claim the first district title since 2008. 2nd and 7 with a little over 10 minutes to play in the final quarter. They gave us to Smith up the middle, following his blockers, trying to dive past the 10. He got just there at that line. Gain of 5 there to make it 3rd down and 2 coming up for Davison as we eclipse and go under the 10-minute marker here in the 4th. Cardinals will go heavy here as they've got Unger in the ball game. Caleb Smith in there as well. Sullivan getting the play call from the near sideline. Runs it back to his huddle on another 3rd and short situation. Cards have it at the 10, but a first down if they can get past the 8-yard line. Sullivan with Terry on the near sideline as the Cardinals move Pasco and Unger now strong side. Sullivan gives it to Smith up the middle. He's got the first down and more. Past the 5-yard line, and a fresh set for 1st and goal coming up for the Cardinals.
Caleb Smith with another huge run on the game. He just seems to be a part of every single big play by this Cardinals offense and even defense with that pick 6 that was returned for 100 yards. What a great game here by Caleb Smith.
Boy, and tough as Yusuf DeCooley come away from that kind of limping. And Fordham was signaling to his old lineman, but no substitutions for it. Maybe just said, I'm okay, as the Cards with only 4 more yards to gain. And Yusuf is kind of limping to the line. Can't rely on his left leg too much, which is his inside leg on the right side of the line. Give to Smith. Up the middle, into the end zone for his 2nd touchdown tonight. Caleb Smith with a 99-yard pick 6, and now a 4-yard touchdown run to find the end zone for the 2nd time in this 2nd half. And the Cardinals extend their lead, pending the extra point, up 4 scores.
As you were talking about the weight training for Caleb and overall just a gym rat for the Cardinals, he's showing his muscle and breaking tackles left and right, and it seems like he's just way too big for Utica to wrap up right now.
He's looked really impressive. I'll tell you who I'm really excited to see what type of offseason Carter Kreiderman has. He's got the speed. He's got the ability that he needs to be the leading rusher for the Cardinals. Extra point, no doubt. It's straight through. And the Cards now in front by 28. 35-7 our score. As the Eagles, on their first drive, found the end zone. They've been stifled since by this Davison defense.
Yeah, definitely with Caleb being a senior and going to South Dakota State next season, it's going to open a big hole for Carter Kreiderman to take way more carries and be a bigger part of this Cardinal offense next year.
He's at the first eye's view, when you look at Carter Kreiderman, he certainly has the speed and continues to pump his legs. But if he added some size, got in the weight room like Jake Weingart's exactly going to ask him to do so, I think will be really impressive for Davison next year, and will certainly be in good hands with the return of Sullivan as well. Guys like Harry Unger coming back for the Cardinals, but this is their year and they can sense it, trying to claim their first regional title in more than a decade. 2008 was on the road against the Chemics of Midland, and a 1-score final for the Cardinals sent them to Spartan Stadium. Davison looking to repeat that in 2019. Cards set to boot this one away with under 9 minutes to play in the 4th quarter. Trenner Rhodes is the new kicker for the Cardinals after Gabe Hopkins went down with injury, and coming up from the JV level and apparently has been nothing but spectacular. Special team staff speaks very highly of Rhodes. Keeps this one on the turf. And if it's going to stay in, it will. I don't know why Eisenhower would have played that. The official had the flag ready to be thrown. But Passarelli played it before it could go out of bounds and just got a couple of yards. It would have been about a 10-yard advantage, a little bit less than that, but just takes it out of bounds.
Yeah, Utica down 4 touchdowns here. It's going to be very difficult for them to try to claw back into this game, but with how crazy this game has been with close turnovers and back and forth, you never know.
Had no turnovers in the first half, and then here in the third quarter, the quarter ago, you had back-to-back plays, one by each team, and both ending in fumbles. That's just kind of how this game has gone. 1st and 10 at the Eagles' 23. They go up the middle, and very little going on. A few yards taken off on 1st down. 2nd down upcoming. If you're wondering what the Cardinals will do after tonight, there's no more host sites. From here we go to Spartan Stadium as Sterling Heights, Stevenson, and Detroit Cass Tech going at it in region action tonight. And the winner will go on to take on the Cardinals in the state semifinal contest. That one will be next week. 2nd and 8 and whistles as there's a banged up Eagles out on the play. So we're going to have a stoppage for just a quick moment. 8:25 to play in the 4th quarter. Back at Brandon High School in Ortonville, Michigan, as the Cardinals in front 35-7, 8:25 to play in the final quarter. Chris Jared, John Gerke, all of our DTV crew streaming live on YouTube as well as Davison Charter Channel 191. If you wanted to stay at home and sit inside the comfort of your home, certainly can't blame you, as the Cardinals have given you plenty to be excited about here in the final frame of play in front 35-7. Really, when you look at these two teams, it's the first time ever that the Eagles and the Cardinals have faced one another, and it's in a regional final. That's really not, that's pretty up to par in terms of in a regional final. You could have a first ever matchup between two teams. But coming into this, I think the Cardinals look well prepared. The biggest thing are the flags, and that's just, a lot of them have been self-inflicted, and really just on, execution, guys jumping offsides on kicks, offsides, jumping before the ball moves. Things that you just really need to clean, and it's been an issue all season, really, that just you have to try to change. As you continue now, you're talking about a state semifinal ball game. You can't have double-digit penalties in a ball game. That's just really detrimental.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Chris. The penalties are costly for the Cardinals, but
Rastigue goes to the option, wants a flag as he gave himself up, and the Cardinals, it looked to be Smith, came in there and kind of just fell on top of the quarterback, and Rastigue certainly wanted a flag, and I think warranted one there, but none flew, and so this will be 2nd down. It shows 3rd and 2. Oh, it is 3rd down after the injury was 1st down. There's 2nd down, so this is 3rd and short. There's a long stoppage after the initial down. Ball at the 31-yard line as Rastigue takes it, pitches it away, and blown up is Gita. Big loss on the play for the Eagles. They try to pitch it in the backfield, and it's going to force a 4th and long. Under 7 minutes. Sorry there, John. Under 7 minutes to play in the 4th quarter. Go ahead.
Cardinals defense swarming the ball there in the backfield. This whole game has been a nightmare for Utica on the run, trying to get their rushing game going, but Cardinals are just too physical and too fast on the outside and busting in to blow that play up.
So 4th and 7, under 7 minutes to play, and of course that you're going to see, I think they're looking that they're going to punt this football. I thought that maybe you would see the Eagles just try to take a shot, but they are going to hand it back over to the Cardinals under 7 minutes to play. Or you could see something here by Utica Eisenhower pulling some tricks out of the bag. Trailing by 4 scores. And they will boot this one away. It's going to clear the 50. Little slow roller that Latrell Fordham wants no part of. And it's going to be spotted in pretty good starting position for the Cardinals. The defense again does their job. They get a well-deserved round of applause from these Cardinal fans as they walk their way off the field. And the Davison offense back out. Really, your job here in this instance, John, just run the football and work the clock.
Yeah, and another reminder for you guys, if you're enjoying the game, don't forget to click the subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube and turn on the bell for notifications if you want to know when we're going live once again for a crazy playoff game.
And we will be live, hopefully, next week at Spartan Stadium. The Cardinals looking like they're going to claim their first regional title since 2008. Over a decade since the last time that the Cardinals have hoisted that regional title trophy from the MHSAA. And in front 35-7 here with 6:40 to play. Give is up the middle for a steady chunk there. Ball going to be carried just shy of the 45. And second down coming up. Looks to be Pasco. Just shy of the 45-yard line. 2nd and 7 coming up at the own 44. Cardinals, John, you really got to tip your cap in a ball game where last week the Cardinals were no strangers to throwing the football around and had to go in the air a lot. But they noticed that running the football worked frequently and often against this Eagles front, and they were able to do it pretty well tonight. Kreiderman up the middle, and he's going to be across the 45 but shy of midfield. And so a decent chunk there on 2nd long.
Yes.
Cardinals continue to do what they've done all night. Let's keep it on the ground.
Yeah, Sullivan, a great passer. He almost has completed 70% of his passes throughout the whole year, and he hasn't been able to use that great part of his game so far today. And he's just been keeping it on the ground, handing it off to his halfbacks, and letting them do the damage on this Utica defense.
Sullivan lost his hand warmer, and the official behind him says, "I'll hang on to that for you," and he might strap it on he might strap it on himself. 3rd down and 3 coming up, and the Cardinals trying to get past midfield. They will give to Kreiderman. Tries to work his way through, and he will push the pile past the 49-yard line. Got some pressure right around midfield, and a late flag flies as the official came in after the play. Wow, we see a couple of flags now. One did fly right towards the end of the penalty, and then another official just dropped a flag at the 40. And Sullivan kind of pushing his Cardinal line back. I'm not sure what the call is, but if you're Davison, there's really no excuse for an after-the-whistle penalty. Just over 5 minutes left in this ball game. Clock shows 5:09. Officials still talking about this one to see what the penalties are going to be about. Here we go. And so the Eagles assess there with the penalty. It's going to move the football further into Eagles territory. Initially, we've got a 1st down for the Cardinals. It was after the play, but then the flags came. And so Carter Kreiderman on the run was able to break midfield, but now the officials is trying to figure out where 1st and 10 will take place. Head official makes the call one more time, and the Cardinals, John, continuing to work this clock in this ball game in front by 4, and would really make an impressive final slate if they can find the end zone again.
Yeah, the Cardinals looking like they're going to go home with a smile on their face and a well-deserved victory against Utica. Not to jinx it, but very dominant game here by the Cardinals.
And the end goal is, too, to just continue to work the clock. Even if you don't find the end zone one more time, just continue to work that clock in your favor. No reason to try to go in the air and find the end zone. I mean, at this point, you have done your job in a cold 2nd week of November. Everyone's best interest to just finish this ball game and get off the field and get back warm, get yourself set for next week. Sullivan with Kreiderman in the backfield. He will give it to the junior. Past the 30-yard line. Fighting. And did not get much. Really tried to work his way back to the line of scrimmage and did not get much more after that. And so the Cardinals have that clock continuing to march further to zeros. Just a little bit over 4 minutes left to play in this ball game. I think another flag has Well, officials haven't marked at the 30-yard line, and now the officials talking to Fordham at the 30, they might just be trying to settle down these two teams because we've been seeing some penalties in this ball game. It's been throughout consistent this entire night.
Yeah, teams letting the emotions get the best of them here. One team's going home sad, one team's going home very happy and advancing. And
it looked to be Ian West, the senior that they were talking to, and Fordham as well. I think just trying to get them on the same page, saying you got to settle your guys down, can't have any more penalties after the whistle.
just under 4 minutes to go here.
Tim Pizzala has left the booth for the Cardinals. 3:50 to play in this ball game. Smith keeps it on the ground, and he's tackled shy of the 25-yard line. Continues to melt that clock, and the Cardinals, you really got to tip your cap what they've done on the ground. This entire, I mean, you knew that a guy like Caleb Smith, the hype has certainly lived up to what he's gotten, the attention he's received, and you knew that it was the real deal with the senior that you've got. But the air attack was really the bread and butter for the Cardinals early in the season. A lot of that, you could say, the secondaries that they matched up against. It's only gotten better as the year's gone on. But the Cardinals at least have been able to be a versatile offense and say, okay, if it can't be in the air, we've got Caleb Smith to give it to on the ground. A lot of other guys as well. We've seen Pasco, Kreiderman, a lot of other ball carriers for Davison. Smith again up the middle, past the 25, and we're under 3 minutes in this ball game to play.
Yeah, success on the run game for the Cardinals here the whole game. And it's not just by one person, like you said. It's 2, 3, or 4 even half different running backs who are getting their turn at trying to run through the Utica defense. And they're all having success so far this game, and that's why the scoreboard is the way it is.
Caleb Smith comes off the field kind of limping and finds a seat on the bench. And so that will bring in Kreiderman. 4th and 4 is our play here as the clock continues to melt down. And Jake Weingart's talking with the officials. Sullivan on the near sideline. And he's going to take this clock all the way down to 1 second left on the play clock, I believe. Take the timeout. 2:16 to play in the fourth quarter. 4th and 4 yards to gain at the Eagles' 24-yard line. Cardinals, a conversion can really end this ball game. Cardinals, John, going to win their first regional title since 2008. They will go on to play the winner of Sterling Heights Stevenson and Detroit Cass Tech next week at Spartan Stadium. Of course, for the winner of those two teams, you can head to MHSAA.com, check out their online printable bracket, all up to date with up-to-date scores, and a printable bracket for the 2019 Division I postseason. On the top of the bracket, you've got Hudsonville and Brighton, and then West Bloomfield and Belleville. Belleville, obviously, the heavyweights in the Division I class this season. And the Cardinals, you look far ahead. If they can get to that state title game, going to be a heck of a matchup.
And just coming in, I guess Sterling Heights Stevenson won the game against Cass Tech 9-7. So Sterling Heights will be going up against the Davison Cardinals next week in a highly anticipated matchup.
9-7. What a weird final. I mean, I know at one point it was 7-3. So Sterling Heights Stevenson might have won that game entirely through the uprights. Only 9 points scored. You've got to like the Cardinals' favor in that one. Give on 4th and 4. Play fake. Cardinals go in the air. Terry, did he catch it? No, incomplete. Sullivan underthrew his target as Harrison Terry was alone.
Had him wide open in the end zone there. Davison trying to put salt in the wound for Utica. What a crazy play, and unfortunately Harrison dropped that one there.
I think, John, they're just trying to go against what the Eagles were expecting. I think they just thought the Cardinals would keep it on the ground, but instead Sullivan tried to find the end zone, and all that needed to be done was the throw delivered, and Sullivan on the run unfortunately left it short. Terry was there. It did hit his hands, but a low throw, and it falls incomplete into the end zone. Eagles will have it 1st and 10 at their own 24 with a little bit over 2 minutes to play in this ball game. New quarterback in the backfield for the Eagles looks to be Ronnie Aniel. Just a junior in the trading off for Rastigue, the senior. Give up the gut is good for a few yards. We're now under 2 minutes to play. As the Cardinal coaching staff starting to trade hugs amongst one another, they can sense it, that they've done their job here tonight, and the Cardinals alive in postseason in 2019. They're going to win the regional title here against the Eagles of Eisenhower, and they will wake up tomorrow with their season still alive. It's a good feeling, I'll tell you that.
What a great comeback from Weingarts from last season, finishing 7-3 and overcoming his former school, Lapeer, and in the last playoff game, outscoring them 41 to, I believe, 42 to 21 last week. What was a rivalry game, what propelled them to, I believe, this victory against Utica.
Aniel had the handoff. It wasn't the cleanest. It was poked free, but able to hop on top of it to make it a loss on the play. Going to be 3rd and about 13 coming up. Cardinals exchanging personnel, now getting some guys who haven't gotten that many reps in this ball game, giving them a chance to get out on the field and get a share in this play. Eagles doing the same as we're under a minute to play, down to about 50 seconds. 3rd and 12, the upcoming play here. Pizzala just kind of stacked up deep up top, trying to avoid a deep play. Down to 40 seconds, and the Cardinal fans starting to get on their feet. Aniel with the give. It's going to be carried past the 20, but shy of the 25. And that's going to do it. Under 30 seconds to play, and Cardinal fans can feel it. Davison going to win their first regional title since 2008. They will stay alive and head to the state semifinal championship game. They're going to line up against Sterling Heights Stevenson and a chance to head to Ford Field. What a dominant win tonight for the Cardinals as the clock hits 0. Davison, the final score, 35-7 over the Eagles of Utica Eisenhower. The Cardinals claim the first win in these two teams' first matchup ever in their two storied programs' history. The Cardinals on the regional final stage come away with the win. John, some final thoughts as we wrap up our broadcast here from Brandon High School.
Great performance by the Cardinals today. Defense was very dominant, barely allowed up a score in that unfortunate turn of events in the first quarter where they somehow got a 70-yard touchdown out of that. But overall, Cardinals defense barely allowed a touchdown, and the offense seemed to run all over Utica tonight, and a great overall win for the Cardinals going into the postseason.
Yeah, more on your point. First drive, the Eagles capped it with a touchdown, and the Davison defense not allowing any points after that. Defensively, they do get a score themselves. A 99-yard pick six for Caleb Smith. That really feels like the high point in this ball game when the Cardinals really started to take the momentum on the other end in their favor. A lot to be excited about for the Cardinals and really feel proud of, as this football field did not look like this 48 hours ago. You had athletic director Dave Beamer in the bleachers shoveling snow, literally clearing the bleachers to get this venue set for a regional title match. And now the Cardinals, just a feeling of relief after, you mentioned it, John, last year a disappointing loss, an early exit to Oxford on the road. The Cardinals this year, all three of their initial matchups played away from Cardinal Stadium. They defeat Romeo in Week 10, and that final score of 35-21. They defeat Lapeer 42-21, and then tonight, the regional final title match, the Cardinals over Utica Eisenhower 35-7, the final score. Cardinals now, you can see them going to raise that regional title trophy for the first time since 2008. And there go the Cardinals into the snow. There go the Cardinals into the snow. Harry Unger leads the charge, and the Cardinals going to celebrate with some snow angels at Brandon High School. What a scene from Ortonville, Michigan, as the Cardinals regional champs, and they're going to celebrate in style. Their moms won't be happy about that one, but the Cardinals will not forget this for a very long time. There's a lot to be excited about for the Cardinals. They win their first regional title. Blaze Glenny calling them back to midfield, say, hey, we got a trophy ceremony here. We got to raise a trophy. Sterling Heights Stevenson, the next upcoming contest for the Cardinals after a win of 9-7 over Cass Tech. And just continuing to enjoy the scene from Ortonville, Michigan, the Cardinals with the win over the Eagles 35-7. They're going to now head their way back to midfield. We're going to continue to carry the trophy celebration, but for my broadcast partner, John Gerke, Chris Jarrett signing off from Brandon High School, and thanks in part to our entire DTV crew back in Davison High School, nice and warm in our control room. Big shout out to all of you guys getting the stream on live on YouTube and as well as Davison Charter Channel 191. We will talk to you next week from Spartan Stadium. Cardinal fans, enjoy the rest of your weekend. And until then, go Cards.